me in the vacuum of my heart. What is happening to me? Crazy summer say, where is my friend when I need you most? Gone away. But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, new show now live with you on all of our platforms, video and audio, as we get going today. We're close. I thought we'd matched hats again.
Hey, I was really close on that one today.
Two battle reds as we try to pop with the black.
You know what I noticed today when I was
battle
looking?
red. That's why I called it some battle red.
What are we battling? What are we battling? Mediocrity?
Yeah, that's what we were battling early on. We were battling to survive early on. Now we've made it, man.
Oh, God almighty.
Are you knocking on wood?
Yes, I sure am.
Man, I watched.
Next pandemic rolls through in a day.
You want to get fired up? I watched the post show yesterday, the back room with Lunsford and Reed, the State of the Union, State of the Union, Disrupt Media, ready to run through a wall.
How's it trending?
Yeah,
we're good.
Huh?
Is it trending good?
We're good.
Oh, I don't know. They were just the conversation was enlightening. The future and everything was exciting.
I thought you hit mute when I was in there eating my lunch yesterday.
It was the second run through for me. I'd seen it once already.
I'll tell you this. So I was looking through the wardrobe today. One of the reasons I wore the battle red was where it would jump out on the background.
Me too.
You guys are just get used to me being camouflaged because most of my stuff is going to, it's going to clash with the battle red.
I don't think we need to overthink that. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of dark grays and blacks. And
I think when they hear our voice, they'll know we're there.
Okay.
You know, whether you can see it versus the background or not. It's not
in
a
the
big deal.
darkness.
Yeah.
We'll pop out there. So we're getting ready. A big Thursday night for us, Bud Light Game Night. We'll get ready to head over to Overtime Bar and Grill. Overtime Bar and Grill for Bud Light Game Night, 5 to 7. The show is 6 to 7 on all the video platforms. Just like you get us on our pregame show Saturday morning and our postgame show on Saturday nights, video platforms only, no audio platforms there. But Bud Light Game Night coming up Thursday night. Overtime Bar and Grill, this right there off of Lakeshore in West Homewood. Come on out if you've never been. Great sports bar and great food. We'll enjoy being there for that. What do you want to start today? You want to do a little? You want to do a little baseball to start with?
No.
Get that out of the way, or go to some college football, NFL? Where do you want to go?
The baseball, I'll just say this real quick. I was at walk-ons last night, and I had a buddy of mine, my buddy Brad Jackson. I think you guys have met him before.
I've met Brad.
But he's a huge Cubs fan, and he walks in and sits down with us at the bar, and the Cubs are up 6-0.
Yeah.
And I'm
the
like,
game's over at that point.
The game was over.
It was.
And the way that game ended, and I know Brown didn't want to do this, but we can just hit it quickly. I mean,
that's all I wanted to do was hit it quickly.
The Cubs fans finally got their World Series out of the way in 2016, right? Was it 16?
I thought it was later than that.
Whatever.
Yeah, whenever. They finally got that monkey off the back, so to speak. But, man, I tell you, that felt like a Cubs moment. I mean, Suzuki, to lose that ball last second, because, he was –
my high school coach, Billy Woodham, would have chewed my ass out.
Well, yeah, because center field's got priority, and Cody Bellinger is a fantastic defensive center fielder. So he should have been called off of that, but he was tracking it perfectly. So, he's going here, and he catches it in the lights. Look, you've played the position before.
It happens.
And I'll tell you, it's like losing a wallet. If you get one in the sun or the lights, that feeling, just being completely lost. And it just happened for a split second. But that was the ball game.
Yep.
And just seeing the reaction of Cubs fans today, some of these people on social media, you hated for them. You still got a little bit of time to try to work this thing out, but that was a big loss.
Right now, though, they're in the play-in game, right?
Right now, they are in the wild card, but
Yeah, but they're in the playing game. They got to play that single game.
There's no single games anymore.
Ah, crap. Forget it then.
Best
That's
of
why I
three.
didn't want to talk baseball.
Yeah, game and a half separates Arizona, Chicago, Miami, and Cincinnati from those quick series. Philadelphia clinches last night, which had nothing to do with the rioting in Philadelphia, right? Was that real? Did I dream
Was there
that?
rioting in
I
Philadelphia?
think you might have dreamed it. I didn't hear anything about it.
Rockstar, was there rioting in Philadelphia yesterday?
I haven't had a TV on in days.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dreamed of rioting then last night. If it didn't happen,
I'm going
I
to
didn't know if
Google it.
I
I
didn't
want to
if
know
it
why
was-
we're rioting.
I didn't know if it was looting and rioting, if it was related to Philadelphia clinching a wild card spot, which would be an odd time to decide to have that kind of a celebration.
Yeah.
Not that it's good anytime.
They're hard celebrators.
Yeah. But so baseball continues. Brutal loss last night on the misplay, two-run score on that play. And baseball is in the books for us there now. We race to the conversation of college football. I got a little fact and fiction for you here in the opening segment. NASCAR Fast, brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. We'll talk a little bit about Talladega coming up a little bit later on. But our friends at NASCAR getting ready for the great weekend in Talladega. To get those tickets, you just got to go to TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Great weekend ahead. A truck race in the playoffs, Hardy in concert Saturday night, and then Sunday morning it's the Yellowwood 500. It's all TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, world's fastest speedway. Get those tickets, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. 7 facts or fictions here.
Okay.
All right?
Fact, there are 7 of them. Next.
Fact, there are 7 of them. That's
Yes.
right. Well, you're anxious this morning, man.
I'm eager.
Did you have a little Diet Coke in the drive-in?
I
A large
did.
one?
My normal Diet Coke large on the way in. I'm good to go, man. I'm ready to tell some college football. Fire away. I'm going to answer quick.
Penn State, because of their defense, can beat both Ohio State and Michigan this year. Fact?
Absolute fact.
I think it is an absolute fact.
Tell me more.
Well, look, Penn State's got now what seems to be a quality quarterback, so they can beat you a couple of ways. They can run the football. I mean, they've got 2 of the best running backs in all of football, in Singleton and Allen. And now you got Drew Aller there at quarterback, and that defense looks really good. Now, it gets a little skewed because they played Iowa last week.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you watch that. If anybody watched it, I had people over and I had it on one of the secondary big TVs, and they're like, can we please turn this game off? And I'm like, we can't, because I'm laying big points with Penn State. Once I feel like I've got this game in hand, and once I think it was like 21-0, I was like, okay, I feel like
Yeah, I don't think Iowa could score 21 points in
But
a
I do
month.
think Penn State's good. I'm still not sure about Ohio State. Lou
Ohio-
Holtz doubled down on them.
Hey, I want to say that, too. That was one thing I wanted to get to today. I applaud Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz has often been a punchline on this show, and I'm not the biggest Lou Holtz fan.
86-year-old Lou Holtz.
86-year-old Lou Holtz. But for him not to come back and say, hey, look, that was taken out of context. I didn't mean any disrespect towards Ryan Day.
Yeah, he was
Yada,
on Dan
yada,
Dockett's show
That's
yesterday,
right.
and this is where he says this.
Yeah, and he says, basically, I stand by what I said.
Yeah.
Ryan can get upset, and I don't blame him for getting upset. That's fine. He's got to defend his team. But I stand by what I said. I still believe what I said, and one game's not going to change that.
Yeah.
I respect that out of Lou Holtz, because most people would have come back and said, boy, I called Ryan and apologized. I didn't mean any ill intent. I was just having fun on the show and trying to
love
fire
it.
up the fan.
He goes on. He doubles down. He goes, hey,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to talk about Michigan.
That's right.
0-2, he says. Big games versus Penn State. He don't want to talk about that right now. So he's deflecting basically towards me. So
We're in an apologetic society now where you've got to backtrack anything you say. Again, freedom of speech is no longer out there. And these guys that are like 65 plus, they don't give a shit. And they're guys that aren't going to pull it back. They're not going to put it in reverse, Terry. Anybody under 50 probably does. These guys aren't going to do it, and I respect that as well.
James Franklin, what do you think of him as a coach off of our first fact or fiction? Penn State defense. He seems very comfortable right now.
I think he's a good coach. He's always struggled with offense, but now with 11 straight after Saturday night, you made the point going into the Iowa game that he's got the longest streak in FBS of 30 or more points in a game. It's hard to believe Penn State. It's hard to believe it's only 11 the way we score points now, number one. And number two, it's hard to believe it's Penn State that owns that. But they're getting it done on both sides of the football. They are at Ohio State October 21. I do not know what the Vegas point spread is in that game, but that is a really tight game the way Ohio State plays right now.
Yeah, Penn State at Ohio State, I would list the Buckeyes 4.5 right now.
So, yeah, I mean, that is a tight game.
Yeah,
in
and I think he's a
Columbus.
B-plus coach just because he has won a Big Ten, but this is a really good job. He's been there a long time. And, if he was to get to a college football playoff, I'd put him in an A category. B-plus grid.
If not now, then when for him? Even though he's got 2 really good teams in his league, in his division, but he's relaxed these days, knowing what's ahead, and he feels like he's got a pretty good team. Here's James Franklin yesterday, not out of context, no setup needed.
Good afternoon, James. How are you?
Are you a coffee guy?
I'm a big coffee guy.
Black or like ice cream sundae?
Black.
I'm an ice
A
cream.
little bit of cream.
Yeah, I'm an ice cream sundae guy, but I've been doing this fasting. I drink it black, and just like you shake your head about the ice cream sundae, I shake my head about the black. I hate the black. It's like punishment. That's what I got right now. It's like
Love black
punishment.
coffee. If it's good coffee.
You always
Yeah.
loved it, or you've grown to love it?
As I've matured, I've grown to love it.
You calling me immature?
Does this stat make sense, or maybe
Mike.
you can explain it?
There's a theme going on here.
Peppermint tea.
Whoa, what in the crap?
The
Get
cold
your balls
brew
out,
with
Mike.
Sweet cold foam with the cold foam on top is really good.
What is the calories in that?
It's only like 80 calories.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you don't get extra creamer or sugar with it, you don't really need it.
Right, but I'm doing this fasting, so it's got to be 0 calories. Like
So
I don't.
It's 80. It's 80 more than 0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not gonna
No,
do
no
it.
help there.
So I'm just gonna continue to punish myself with this awful black coffee.
Boy, our forefathers would be so pissed that guys are talking calories.
I know.
Yeah,
you
but
can tell they're at Northwestern this week, can't you?
My whole point in all this was we should send James Franklin some of our next round coffee.
I'm in. Let's
and
do
said,
it.
Hey, we listened to your soundbite this week. Let's overnight it to him and say, hey, try this.
That's right.
It's 0 calories.
Yep.
Gluten free.
Yeah.
And Scott Forrester and Kelsey designed a great blend. Let's send it up there to him. And I say we do it overnight. See if it makes his news conference. See if he sends something back or at least posts something of it.
Is he trying to become the new Mike Leach?
Maybe there is a void in college football for non-robotic head coaches. That was very non-robotic.
Yep.
And I appreciate it. And you could tell they're at Northwestern. He ain't sweating the Wildcats.
How about Doss? He's in there really quick. Somebody send that man some next round coffee.
Yes, sir.
Get him some good black coffee.
Nextround.store if you want to buy it yourself.
Let's
and
get up
we're,
there, yeah.
we're going to send it to James Franklin.
Nextround.store, nextround.store. Yeah, Brent.
Though Northwestern is coming off a win, it should be noted, that was an incredible collapse last week.
Yeah. All right, more best.
I can tell neither one of you watched a single play of that one.
I didn't watch Northwestern last week.
Minnesota had a lead and collapsed 37-34 in overtime.
More fact or fiction here. Notre Dame still makes a New Year's Six bowl game this year. Yes or no? Fact or fiction?
That is going to be fiction based on the fact that Notre Dame has won like 1,000 straight games against ACC opponents, but the ACC is much better this year. So Notre Dame has got a hell of a game this weekend. And, I mean, moving forward, Notre Dame's got a difficult schedule, so I think they lose 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I think they lose this weekend.
So both of you have them losing to Duke
I
this
think
weekend?
they lose to Duke, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that, but, I mean, I think Duke's really good. I think it's a coin flip game. Right now, Notre Dame is 4.5 or 5 is the number. But even if you get past Duke, you've still got at Louisville. We'll see what Louisville's made up Friday night. I think Louisville might take a step back. People are overhyping Jeff Brom and Jake Plummer at quarterback. Then you've got USC. I don't see Notre Dame beating USC right now, but they could. You got to go
with
to
USC,
Clemson.
Yeah, with USC's defense, that's always up in the air. Yeah.
In
But you're
South
right,
Bend?
at Clemson's a tough one.
In South Bend.
It is in South
It's in
Bend.
South Bend.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So fiction on them making New Year's Six bowl game. 2-loss Notre Dame still makes a New Year's
Well,
Six
I mean,
bowl
there's
game.
4 losable games.
Yeah.
So if you can go 3-1 in those games,
But
you're
you don't
still
have
in.
them losing to Clemson. You said yesterday Clemson loses that game.
I said there's a good chance Clemson loses.
you had Clemson.
These are all coin flips. So to me, Notre Dame Duke's a coin flip. Notre Dame at Louisville coin flip. Notre Dame USC and Notre Dame Clemson.
You had Clemson barely making a bowl game yesterday.
I had them 8-4.
Yeah. We had a friend, new sponsor in studio watching, big Clemson guy. When he was leaving, he's like, hey, I want to check back with LT at the end of the year. I don't think we lose again.
Well, he told me, hey, look, I thought we played great. We built momentum on Saturday. Look, they played good Saturday, but you ended up losing the game, so you wonder how that carries over. I mean, for Clemson, it's national championship or bust. It's not about winning an ACC championship, and now that you're 0-2 in the ACC, you are done.
Fact or fiction, Nebraska has a better shot at a bowl game than Colorado does. Fact or fiction.
Well, Nebraska's going to lose again this week.
Nebraska
Colorado's
has
gonna
a
lose.
better shot at a bowl game than Colorado does. Nebraska's fought back. They're 2-2 now.
Yeah,
Colorado's 3-1.
I'll go fact without looking at Nebraska.
I'm going to pull it up. You know what
Okay.
Colorado has left,
Yeah.
Lance. So I'm going to pull up what Nebraska has left here. And to Jim's point, they have fought back just a little bit after losing the first
Okay, but
two.
they're 2-3 after this weekend.
Yeah, they play Michigan this weekend. That's a loss at Illinois.
That's coin flip.
Coin flip game.
Yeah.
Bye week Northwestern. They're better than Northwestern.
Yeah, that's a win. That's
Purdue. Purdue has not been good.
Where's that game?
That is in Lincoln.
Yeah, I'll give them
they got
one.
a chance to win 3 straight
4.
right there.
Yeah.
At Michigan State, they should beat Michigan State. That's a terrible team who is
Coin flip game, though.
it's a rudderless ship right now.
So I'll split those 2 coin flips. I'll give them 5 wins right now.
Okay, well, here's your problem. They host Maryland. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Winnable game.
It's a
Maryland's
winnable
up
game.
and down.
You're at Wisconsin. Wisconsin hasn't been impressive, but I would still think they're
That's
the
a
better
loss,
team there.
yeah.
And then you host Iowa. That could be for bowl eligibility on Black Friday, hosting Iowa. And anybody can beat Iowa. Anybody.
Well, here's the thing. Colorado's got 3 wins already. They're going to beat Stanford at home. That's 4.
You can get it to 5. Your problem is getting it past 5.
I don't know if I can get it to 5.
Well, I mean-
Arizona State, at Arizona State, probably. I'll give them 5 there.
Arizona State or Arizona, they can beat. That
Yeah,
gets
and
a
then
5.
it comes down to Arizona.
So
Yeah.
really, both of them you easily get to 5, and
Well,
it comes down: can Nebraska
probably,
beat Iowa, and can Colorado beat both the Arizonas?
So Colorado at 5-7, A+++ job for Dion. At 5-7 for Matt Rule. See?
I don't know. No, I can't go C.
I like Matt a lot.
No, but why would you go C? Nebraska has been 3 wins, 3 wins, 3 wins. I mean, it's a 2-win improvement. Had them in the bowl discussion in year 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't guess you can go A, but I certainly wouldn't go C.
Yeah, I would go B then.
Yeah.
By the way, really good question: Nebraska, Colorado, right?
That's Jim, man.
That's a good mybookie.ag bet.
Might be the question of the day.
Yeah, so far,
Question of the day brought to you by our friends at the University of Montevallo. If you're looking for a place, if you got questions about where your son or daughter are going to go to school in the future, answer it with the University of Montevallo. Montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu. Schedule that in-person tour right now. 23 Division II fully funded scholarship athletes. Bless you, Lunsford. An opportunity for your son or daughter to experience college at its best. Great new facilities like a theater department, new athletic facilities, also a business department, communication school, and so much more. It is our friends at the University of Montevallo, montevallo.edu. Fact or fiction? Alabama and Auburn will finish the regular season in the bottom 5 of points scored in the SEC.
Alabama and Auburn in
Both.
offensive points scored?
Offensive points scored.
Scoring offense here is what we're talking about.
The
Okay.
bottom 5 of the SEC when the season is done.
So, Lance, I will give it to you now. Alabama is 12th. Auburn is 9th currently.
Okay, that will flip around.
Yeah.
I think Auburn definitely will finish in the, what did you say, the bottom 5?
Bottom 5. So there's
Yep.
14 schools
Yep.
currently, if you're not familiar. So that would be 9 down.
Yep.
Well, if you go just points per game, which is what you're going by here on scoring offense.
I would not say both, though.
Here are 2 teams in front of Alabama that will not finish in front of, well, 3 teams that I don't think will finish in front of Alabama, which would get them out of the bottom 5. Mississippi State is currently 10th. Mississippi State, as they go through conference play, is not going to score a ton of points with that offense, I don't think.
Coming off Will Rogers' best game to date.
That is correct. Vanderbilt is 8th. Vanderbilt, going through a conference schedule, is not going to continue to score those kinds of points.
Dropping fast.
And Auburn is 9th, and I think as Auburn goes through a conference schedule with their quarterback situation, they're not going to score.
Yeah, and I don't
Georgia
think
on the horizon.
I don't think
Right.
Kentucky. I don't think Florida. I don't think
Well,
Missouri.
Florida's behind them. Florida's dead last.
Yeah,
in the
but I'm
conference.
saying I don't think
Okay,
Vanderbilt. I'm just going down the list. Mississippi State, I agree. Auburn. Yeah, Alabama will not be in the
Yeah,
bottom
they won't
5.
be in the bottom 5. In fact, I would say it's more likely Alabama's in the top 5 than the bottom 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
30 seems like an oasis on the horizon of a desert right now.
Yeah,
Points.
But who's going to be there? Georgia's going to be there.
Georgia should be there. I think Ole Miss will stay up there. I think
Tennessee.
LSU. Yeah, it's going to be tough at
A&M.
5. LSU, Tennessee, A&M. Yeah, they're probably going to be 6th. I mean, Arkansas, too, though. Arkansas has to score a lot of points because they're getting behind. I mean, top 5 maybe. They'll be middle of the pack. That was an overstatement by me.
All right. Fact or fiction? Duke ends up in a better bowl game than Miami and Clemson.
Oh, well, they've already beat Clemson handedly. But
Yeah, Miami, I don't know.
I think Miami's good. Just after watching them against A&M, I think they're really good. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But I would say that Miami will end up in a better bowl.
I'm going to say fiction because of Miami. Yeah, I'll go fiction because of Miami.
So Duke, better bowl game than Clemson.
I don't think Duke and Miami play. Let me check this. They do not play.
Unless they meet in the conference championship
Unless they
game.
both-
Well, I
keep
can't wait till November 11th, though. What other games do we have November 11th? We've got Miami going to Tallahassee to take on Florida State. When was the last time we saw a Miami-Florida State game that could be this big?
The last time I can remember one that got my attention, they played on a Labor Day night to open the season.
Yeah, but that was like 04.
Oh, I know. It's been forever ago, Lance.
Did Mark Richt not have them important enough to play for Florida State for a meaningful game?
Well, I don't think Florida State was meaningful
at that time. Okay.
Yeah.
November 11th, you got Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas, TCU, Miami, Florida State, Utah, Washington. Could be interesting.
Yeah.
USC, Oregon. It's a big Pac-12 day.
Yeah.
Utah, Washington, USC, Oregon.
Pick any day this year. It's a big Pac-12 day.
But that is probably, after those two games, I mean, it's one of the biggest games in the country. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Fact or fiction, Air Force will be your New Year's Six Bowl representative from the group of five.
There's a lot of chatter about them being the best group of five team right now. I personally think if they met on the field, it would still be Tulane or Fresno. I don't think it is Air Force.
Air Force is tough out, though. Watching them, I had San Jose State Friday night. And San Jose was dominating the game, and in the second half, Air Force's defense came out, and they could not move the ball. And I thought about, after you asked the question last week, who was that next team? Air Force was that next team.
Yeah.
The next team behind who?
Week.
Behind Tulane.
Behind Tulane. You don't give Fresno a spot
there?
Oh,
yeah. Fresno would be – I mean, that's what – the Mountain West probably comes down to Air Force, Boise, and Fresno.
And Air Force and Fresno do not play unless they meet the conference championship game. So I don't know that we'll be able to settle that one. I'm not ready to give up on Tulane either.
Tough game with UAB this week.
I don't think it is, actually. I think they'll probably run UAB. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but I think they were a 3-touchdown favorite in that game.
They are.
Am I right about that? So I don't think it's a tough game for them.
If I could draw that damn dragon, I would have made that my upset alert.
Really? You think that much?
No, I think they can get inside the number.
Oh, of 21?
I think I drew the dragon last year.
Well, well. That's why it intimidated
with
me.
you. I mean, the cock you drew yesterday was incredible.
It was for South Carolina, of
Thank
course.
you. The Gamecock.
Am I right about that, right?
Yes.
Sorry, that's what we're talking about, right?
My ears perked up.
You made it sound like I drew the Statue of Liberty. All right, one more. Fact or fiction? All the Heisman finalists in New York City will be from the Pac-12.
I think that's fiction. You still got regional voting that takes care of that. It's going to be hard to get that many voters in the West Coast. Those votes are going to split up among Bo Nix and Michael Penix and Caleb Williams and whatever quarterback.
Yeah, and you got to remember this. Texas doesn't look to be going anywhere. So Quinn Ewers is going to be up there. Jordan Travis has a possibility to be up there. We still haven't seen somebody from the SEC necessarily separate themselves.
I don't think there is one, though.
Might not be.
I don't know who you would look at in the SEC.
George is the bell cow, but who's sticking out on that team?
And a lot of people talk Brock Bowers, but he's not off to the type of start where you start talking Heisman Brock Bowers.
I mean, Jaden Daniels, like if he goes out and starts to put up massive numbers, he could be in the mix.
If he played every week like he did against Mississippi State, he'd probably win the thing.
Yeah, I mean, if Spencer Rattler played for another team.
Yeah, you don't get to play Mississippi State's defense every week, though. That's unfortunate for Jaden Daniels because, buddy, if he did, he'd have won it.
Yeah. All right. Little fact or fiction to start us off today. Way to Wellness. A fact can help change your life, your eating habits that could help you with your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your weight gain. If you're having a problem in that department as you age a little bit or just enjoyed this summer with those nice frozen drinks and a lot of desserts as you're out enjoying the summer, maybe you want to start dropping some weight as we approach the holidays here. Good time to do it. Jump in with Leslie and her board-certified team at Way to Wellness. This is the website to go to, aplanforme.com. aplanforme.com. You'll find there no cookie-cutter plan. Every plan is designed specifically for you and overseen by board-certified professionals. There's no contract. There's no sign-up fee, and the first consultation is absolutely free. All you have to do is go to aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com, and find out what they can do for you. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. When we come back, LT has 4 downs, and we got a little question involving, TV ratings, the WWE style of college coaching now. Do you like it or you don't like it? We'll talk about that next right here on TNR.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville. Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA. The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
Quarterback injuries, part of college football. You see it in the NFL as well. Big news today. Billy Lucci updating one at Texas A&M right now, Browning.
He says in his tweet, Billy Lucci does, toughest of news for A&M football per everything I've heard since yesterday and from sources very close to the situation. QB Connor Wegman's foot injury is, in fact, a season ender.
Oh, wow.
Weight-bearing bone and roughly a 3.5-month recovery. So this becomes Max Johnson's team. There in College Station. Boy, you hate it for Wegman. I mean, he was off to a pretty good start, though he was not playing very well against Auburn before the injury. He had a good start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, he was completing 67% of his passes, or 69% of his passes, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. You know, had a rocky half against Miami, but outside of that, Wegman was really good. But when Max Johnson came in, he was really good.
You know, we just got to.
That's right. You rocky game against Miami.
Yeah.
Off to a bad start against Auburn, and the guy who came in looked great against Auburn. Maybe it ends up being a blessing for A&M in the long run.
It may be. I mean, we've seen it multiple times in football. Heck, you saw it last year with TCU. I mean, without the early injury, I don't know that we ever see TCU more than a 7 or 8 win team. But they caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, and they had an experienced guy waiting in the wings behind Chandler Morris and Max Duggan. The rest is history. And when you look at Max Johnson, he's got a lot of experience. 2 years at LSU, 2 years now at A&M. He's thrown over 100 passes in his A&M career, and he's yet to throw a pick.
But he can never win and hold a starting spot. It's the weirdest thing about Max Johnson. Like, when he comes in, he often looks like he did against Auburn. But he never, like you said the other day, Dunaway, never wins the job.
I'm going to make a projection. Max Johnson in this offense with those weapons, that he will be a NFL prospect people are talking about come the end of the year.
So you think they've injured themselves into maybe a better situation?
Maybe.
I'm going to predict the opposite.
Okay.
I'm going to say there is a reason that Max Johnson never wins and keeps these starting jobs. And it's not going to do A&M in. I mean, I still think they're an 8 or 9 win team, but I don't think they compete for the West now.
So what do you think they were before that? Not an 8 or 9 win team?
I think, I don't know. Wegman had, again, that first half against Auburn was alarming for me for Texas A&M's offense. They couldn't move the ball. And I know Auburn's got a good defense, or they've had one this year. I think they were a team capable of beating Alabama and LSU, yes. I'm just not sure with Max Johnson if they're capable of beating both Alabama and LSU, which is probably what you have to do to win the West.
they're going to be underdogs in 4 games coming up.
Yeah.
But they all got winnable games.
Is Alabama one of them at College Station?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, unless Alabama was to, I don't know, lose this week.
I mean, if Alabama loses at State, all bets are off, obviously.
right.
But
Well,
I
what
can't
if
see Alabama losing at State.
Alabama wins by 10, and they look sloppy. They're still favored.
What if they don't score 24 this weekend? What if they score 24 again?
As long as they win, they will be favored against A&M.
All right. Update on Georgia going into play Auburn, a couple of health things after LT tells you about our friends at Odie's.
Yeah, Odie's Tavern. Actually had lunch there yesterday at the new Homewood location. Beautiful. Our pictures on the wall, the Portico magazine cover. Yeah, we had lunch in there with some of our friends yesterday. So great place. Not only that, but tonight is Wednesday night, Rockstar, and that means
Trivia.
Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night. Crestline location, the original location right there. Come out, enjoy some of the great food, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. It's a Birmingham institution, Odie's Tavern.
Hey, real quick, Luke in the chat room makes the point. If Johnson comes in and kills it, this is the 3rd straight year Jimbo has gotten the starter wrong. I don't know what that says about Jimbo Fisher, but it would be the 3rd straight year he's messed that one up.
100%. Georgia's heading into play Auburn this weekend, and Georgia could be full strength or close enough. Ladd McConkey practice Friday, practice Tuesday. No side effects. Moving along, Kirby says. Maybe limited, may have a sort of pitch count in the game, but he is trending towards making his debut at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Safety Javon Bullard, probably their most effective and intimidating DB back there. Missed a couple games with an ankle. He is working his way back, expected to play against Auburn this weekend. Mikey Williams, their best rusher, had an illness, missed the UAB game. He's healthy, expected to be back for the game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And Kendall Milton, when he's not hurt, maybe their most effective runner, missed 2 games because of a knee sprain, working towards returning this week. And that's important because they've lost Roderick Robinson for this game. So if Milton can't go, Georgia's down to just 2 scholarship running backs. But it looks like Milton will be able to go. So 4 big pieces possibly returning for Georgia. And different feeling about this game than maybe Hugh Freeze has. Let's listen to the Georgia folks about the rivalry with Auburn. It was all love, not hatred, from Hugh Freeze. Kirby Smart on the fan bases of Georgia and Auburn.
I tend to agree with Coach Freeze. It's not about hate for me. I don't look at it as I hate any of their players. I recruited a lot of them. I don't look at it as I hate any of their coaches because I like a lot of their coaches. I've known all those guys for a long time. I have a lot of respect for Hugh. I look at it as a hell of a fierce rivalry, and that's really why you do this business. Like why you get in this business is to play in these type games in this type atmosphere. Fan bases may not like to hear that because they like to hate each other. That's not a lot of difference in our fans and their fans a lot of times. I mean, in terms of where they're from, that kind of thing, our players are similar to their players. So I have respect for them, not hate.
Yeah, Kirby with a great answer. Now, what about the players? Zion Puckett, Rockstar, gets asked about the Auburn coach's comments about, hey, hey, your coach thinks it's about love, man, when you're playing Georgia. Here's Zion.
Freeze was asked about the rivalry and being new to it. He said he doesn't sense the hatred that other rivalries have. And you think he's going to find out that he's wrong about that?
Oh, I think he'll find out. Yeah, I think he'll find out. Just probably the intensity of we always have great intensity for each opponent, but I feel like every week it goes up.
Yeah, so just getting more and more every week. By the way, give me that picture again, Rockstar. That grayed out Auburn logo there.
Old school logo.
Like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good looking shirt.
Yep, like that a lot.
So Georgia is the new Alabama. I think everybody agrees with that.
Yep.
And Alabama, before teams would hit the field, they were already beaten. Do you think teams feel like that about Georgia? Are they that intimidated by Georgia?
Yes. I do, yeah. I think, it's interesting. I was talking to Luganville yesterday on ball, and I asked him the question. You can get that at Disrupt the Media, by the way. I asked him the question that we discussed on the air. I was like, you're on the field all the time before games. Do you see talk going on between the two teams. And I said it maybe doesn't escalate to the level that it did with what we saw from Colorado and Oregon. And he's like, oh, yeah, it happens every week. He said, I will say this, though. That one did probably escalate to a level that I normally don't see. And when I do see it escalate to that level, it's not normally a team that is so overmatched as Colorado is, right?
Right.
It's two teams whose rosters are a lot alike. And
Yeah,
he
that's
said,
what was shocking.
Yeah, and that's what Luka Bill said. He said that was that shocking. But his point was that he thinks most players are smart enough to know when they're outmanned roster-wise. And I think Auburn players are smart enough to know they're outmanned roster-wise. They're not idiots. They can look at this and see that they're outmanned roster-wise by Georgia. So, yeah, I think most teams that play Georgia, they're down 7 to 14 points when the game starts.
It's just, it comes down to the quarterback position for me. Like, Georgia would win this game anyway, but if Auburn had some consistency, somebody sent me a text this morning, will Auburn cover this week? And I said, I lean that Auburn covers this week, but I need to know how many turnovers Auburn quarterbacks have. If it's 2 or less with the crowd, with that defense, if they control the clock, I think it could be an interesting game. Georgia still wins. But if they're sloppy with the football like they've been the last 2 or 3 weeks, they got no shot.
Yeah, giving them extra possessions. Let's get to our 4 downs today, brought to you by the great folks at Slice Pizza. Those 4 great locations, and that includes, by the way, a great lunch special where you can get a slice and a salad or 2 slices in a salad.
Yeah, local pizza, local ingredients, created by the late Jeff Pajaya. His brothers continue the legacy. Jason and Chris, get into one of those 4 locations. Tell them the next round said hello. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More total touchdowns in Oxford Saturday. Jaden Daniels or Jackson Dart?
I will go. Ole Miss not running the football very well, so traditional run-in touchdowns they just aren't really getting. So Dart is probably going to, like he did against Alabama, run one in. But I mean, as little as they scored against Alabama, I just don't expect them to score that much against LSU. I'll go Jaden Daniels.
I'll go Jaden Daniels because it counts throwing them in, right?
Yeah.
I'll go Jaden Daniels. Those LSU receivers, I don't know if Ole Miss can keep up with
Thomas and Neighbors, yeah, they can play.
Yeah.
LSU's always got receivers. I would go Jaden Daniels, too. This game screams, at least from my side, to play Ole Miss as a contrarian. I don't think I can do it.
I'm surprised people think it's going to be this tight. I think LSU wins this game fairly comfortably. It's just my opinion.
Well, I think it's the
well, part of it's the point spread. I think the point spread's very low.
It is, but I think initially you think, well, Ole Miss just lost to Alabama, didn't play great. They're going to bounce back. They're a better team than that. LSU, had that game against Florida State that most of the country watched, and they saw a bad part of LSU, so they're thinking Ole Miss is going to be at home and play better. I sort of agree with you guys. I didn't make it my upset alert because I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Second down.
So what would be deemed the bigger upset this weekend in you guys' eyes? Auburn over Georgia or Mississippi State over Bama?
Auburn over Georgia.
Auburn over Georgia. Yeah, until Georgia loses again.
Yeah.
Unless it's the SEC championship game. Even if it's Tennessee and Neyland Stadium, that's going to be massive.
Yeah, I think it's tight, though, because Mississippi State, for whatever reason, just can't play against Alabama. And Auburn is such a unique atmosphere. So you can't forget that.
I really believe whether it's true or not, the whole country already has put Alabama into the broken category. So another loss isn't going to shock the world like their first loss does, right?
Yeah.
So for Georgia, having the nation's longest win streak and they're number 1 in the country, whenever it happens, whether it's this year or next year or the year after, or the year after, or the year after, or the year after, whenever Georgia loses again, it's going to be big news.
Well, here's what I would say. Alabama has looked vulnerable many times this year and lost. Georgia has looked vulnerable many times this year and hasn't played a game within single digits.
Right.
So there's your difference right there.
Third down.
More total touchdowns Saturday. Caleb Williams in Boulder or the combination of Alabama, Mississippi State, and Starkville?
Caleb Williams in Boulder. I mean, what keeps them from scoring 70 this week, going full Miami Dolphin mode?
Yeah, I think he combines for 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think it's like 5 passing, 2 rushing.
And Alabama's going to want to, continue to find their identity, which, it's great to let Jalen air it out. Maybe you find a little bit of that, a little comfort in him being able to throw the ball around the yard. But you probably want to think that early in the game they're going to try to control it and keep that low scoring. And I don't know what Mississippi State can score.
I will say that, the last 2 quarterbacks, as Matt Wyatt pointed out, have had career days against State. This is a day it feels like Jalen Milroe can get right. That said, I don't know how Colorado stops USC's offense.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado may score 40.
No, I think it'll be a very high-scoring game, yeah.
But 70. And if there's a game on Fox at 2:30, which there is, Michigan, Nebraska, I'd get ready to watch it on FS2 or wherever they put their games because USC Colorado is going to go long.
Let me ask you guys this, though, just on the USC thing real quick. Alex Grinch is getting killed, and I think it was deserved last year. But at the end of last year, they just couldn't tackle. And the way they're scheming right now, they're getting after the quarterback. I mean, they're getting plenty of sacks, plenty of tackles for loss. They're just missing a lot of tackles. How much of that is on the defensive coordinator?
I mean, if they keep missing tackles, it's the defensive coordinator's fault. I mean, that you say it was a problem last year at the end of the year. You've had all offseason to fix it. It's a problem now again this year. At some point, it's his fault. I'd pin it all on him.
I don't know. I mean, you're on scholarship. You're getting paid. Make a tackle. I mean, the scheme is there. Okay. You're there to make the tackle.
Well, why do you keep putting the guys out there that don't make tackles?
None of them do.
Okay, well, that's the coach's fault. You got a bunch of guys that can't tackle. That's on you as a coach, to me.
4th down.
This is going to be a controversial question on 4th down. It's going to be new school, old school.
All right.
Okay.
Lil Wayne is 41 today.
He's only 41.
Yeah,
he's lived a lot.
Interesting looking character.
He and Snoop look the same age.
So, more famous Wayne, Lil Wayne or John Wayne?
Oh, I mean, you can't make that comparison. At his time, John Wayne probably was.
Yeah, John Wayne was the biggest actor in the world for a period of time. Lil Wayne
played Genghis Khan.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great portrayal of Genghis Khan.
Yeah, but I would say there was a time where Lil Wayne probably had the highest selling.
I don't think he's ever been the biggest entertainer in the world, though. And John Wayne was the biggest actor in the world. So, yeah, I'll go John Wayne.
But
I think it's pretty easy.
John Wayne was very stereotyped, right?
So was Lil Wayne.
He was the guy who saved America, right? He was the guy that
John Wayne
was the guy they put in movies as the great American soldier. He was the great leader.
He also, didn't he dodge draft?
And he was a cowboy. I mean, I don't know what he did in his personal life.
I think he did.
I don't know anything about
USC
any of them.
guy.
I don't know what Lil Wayne does in his personal life. I know he's entertaining.
I know he smokes weed.
And I know right now, and probably since at least 2011, he's more popular than more people know his name than know John Wayne's name. You got to be old to know even who John Wayne is.
Yeah. There's John Wayne trying to break type and
play Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
It's hardly recognizable.
Yeah, I mean,
spot on.
He looks just like Genghis Khan. I've seen the photos.
And by the way, they shot it right there in Sedona, where I vacation. Same place they shot all the Westerns.
Is that China? No, it's right there in California.
You know what's crazy is like I'm kind of a Lil Wayne is overrated rap guy, and I'm kind of a John Wayne is overrated movie guy.
Oh, I don't think he was a great actor, but he was the biggest.
They threw him a bone because he was about to die on the shootist. Yeah, that's his only best actor win.
He was the biggest actor in the world, though, and I don't think Lil Wayne's ever been the biggest entertainer in the world. So I'll go John Wayne.
And that is 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice, also by our friends at Bromberg's. LT, tell us about those.
Yeah, since 1836, family owned and operated. Again, if you're thinking about popping the question, they are your diamond specialist. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg. Stop into one of those 2 locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can also shop online right now. Go to brombergs.com.
I didn't tell Forrester to have a picture ready, so I'll save this non-sports story for a little bit later on. So I'll go to this one. Growing vacation trend among executives, entrepreneurs, and people with money in the U.S. You can't guess it. I'm just setting you up so you can think about it. It is psychedelic vacations, where people travel to Jamaica or the Netherlands with companies like Silo Wellness, who announces they're bringing one to Oregon as soon as it's legal, to using psychedelic mushrooms. And you go on this psychedelic experience, almost like Aaron Rodgers did with a ayahuasca in the darkness retreat.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, I shouldn't say a lot of people, I've heard of people doing this before. I'm one of those that, do I like to get a buzz? Yeah. Do I want to go into a different world where I am hallucinating? Not really.
Yeah, it seems scary to me. It's being tested, the mushrooms and the psychedelics, to help Alzheimer's, smoking and drug addictions, and depression. But these are now getaway vacations for the uber wealthy, not even uber wealthy, but it's an expensive vacation most of them are $5,000 to $10,000 for a weekend getaway.
A weekend
getaway.
I'd honestly rather go somewhere inconclusive, lay on the beach, have a drink with an umbrella in it.
Well, what would you say if one of us was going on vacations and I said that's where I was going this weekend?
Where are you going, Rockstar?
Yeah, like, I'm going on a psychedelic. Would you try to deter me or like have
I'd
fun?
be
See
like,
Monday.
what?
Here's my question. Why do you have to travel other than legality? If you're going to be out of your mind, why waste the money to go to Jamaica and the Netherlands?
You can go to somebody's apartment.
You can vacation on your couch.
Yeah.
Because you're not in your own mind anyway.
It is weird. They're going places. It's like
for legal reasons.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. But coming to Oregon soon, they say. That is
everything's coming to Oregon, right?
Not me. Not the Dunaways. Yeah. All right. When we come back, we will knock out our sneaky good games this weekend and our spotlight and a lot more of the show today being brought to you by our friends at NASCAR, racing to a great weekend. World's fastest speedway. Great people watching. Start with that. Great camping. People are camping out right now at Talladega. We'll talk more about that in our final hour of the show right now. But it's a wonderful weather weekend, wonderful time to be at Talladega. And it's 2 playoff races in the Truck Series and in the Cup Series, the Yellowwood 500 coming up on Sunday. Saturday's the truck race, and then Saturday night it is Hardy in concert, great country music concert. Your ticket gets you to all that. Check it out, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
All right, our spotlight every Wednesday is Sneaky Good Game. Brown Bandit not in the building for that. But always in the building with us is our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. They've got an unbelievable deal right now that uses the phrase 110%, Brownie.
It's an overused phrase, Dunaway. It is an overused phrase in athletics, but not overused.
Not in money. Not in money terms.
Not in overused in money. You always own 110% of your money, right? Well,
Yes.
they're giving it to you right now at mybookie.ag. You make an initial deposit. They give you a 110% bonus, and you can use it right away. There's not any waiting, and you don't have to win like 5 or 6 times to make it yours. That's not the way they operate at MyBookie. Now, here's what you do need. You do need code Next Round to get this. We're not just going to give it to anybody. This is a thank you to the Next Round family because of what you guys have done there at MyBookie. And I want you to know how much we appreciate it. When you support our sponsors, it helps us tremendously. And you've done it with MyBookie. Please continue to do that. And they're saying thank you. 110% right there at mybookie.ag. No strings attached. Just go make your initial deposit. 110% bonus when you sign on there with code Next Round. Great football coming up this weekend. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, and they're giving you 110%. So you go take advantage of it right now. Mybookie.ag, code Next Round. Mybookie.ag, code Next Round.
The College Football Spotlight.
This weekend's sneaky good game.
Sneaky good game, boys. Looky.
Here comes Jim Dunaway.
All of a sudden, this is a great win for Penn State. Because Neil Brown has turned West Virginia into a 3-1 football team, I believe. And they played TCU, who lost to Dion in Colorado early on.
Very minimalist with your West Virginia there.
West Virginia, small mountains. Not a big mountain mama. One big mountain. One mountain.
You're going back to old school Dunaway. I like this.
Little mama.
West Virginia, TCU this weekend. Neil
What channel is it
Brown on the road in Fort Worth. What now?
What channel is it on?
It's on ESPN.
Okay.
2.
Rockstar.
It's on ESPN. Okay. 2.
They're making it as small
Hey,
as
I'll
possible.
let them dog me out too because
Hey, it's sneaky good.
It's sneaky.
I don't think it is, but
Wow.
You don't think it's a good game?
I think TCU pops them.
You think TCU pops?
I do.
You think TCU has bounced back?
I think
from that?
TCU is going to get better and better.
Better and better.
Yeah, I do.
I
am going to go with the Big 12, just like you. What channel is it on there, Rocky?
Oh my God. FS1. But
It's Baylor and UCF.
okay, yeah.
Baylor and UCF. 2:30, Rockstar.
2:30, by the way.
game.
Want to make sure
F looks like
everybody
an Uzi.
tunes into this one.
It's on Uzi?
The F looks like an
Oh,
Uzi.
the F looks like an Uzi.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I can't draw it, so I can't.
But yeah, Baylor and Central Florida. Sawyer Robertson's got to play better. But Baylor, this seems like one of those spots catching 11.5. Number's too big. Too big.
Too big?
Yeah.
UCF's Big 12 home debut. The bounce house will be, wait for it, bouncing.
I still think, I think the jury's out on Dave Aranda. He's a good coach, though.
You got to think he'll dial up something defensively
Yeah.
to keep
Well,
it
he
inside
has so
the
far,
number.
and they've struggled with quarterback. Now, he got away from him against Texas, but Texas is probably the class of that league.
Sneaky good game, Brownie. Save us, apparently.
I am going to the wonderful city of Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. The Broncos of Boise State.
What
coming.
channel is that on?
That is on Rockstar. Where do you find that one?
ESPN2.
Hey, they got bigger and bigger, didn't they?
They did. ESPN2 is where you find Boise at Memphis, 3 o'clock kick for that one in the Liberty Bowl.
In all honesty, and that's a good game, and I understand that. And
Did I just pick it so I could draw the horse?
Maybe.
Oh.
But I'm. I don't like watching Memphis football.
I don't either.
I don't know what it is.
Well, it's a lot of things. The Liberty, they're normally just okay, if that. They're not a great team.
Like, I hated the years they were really good.
Liberty Bowl's a bad venue, and here's the thing. If I'm not mistaken, Liberty Bowl is like Missouri. They've got bad camera angles. The camera angle is too low for football. That's the problem with Missouri, among other things in their stadium, which I wish we hadn't let it into the SEC. I hate the font Missouri uses for their yard line numbers. It's that slanted, looks like it's in italics.
Yeah.
And
futuristic.
It's futuristic. And the camera angle is way too low at Missouri. It's the same as at Syracuse. If you watch a game at Syracuse, with Clemson at Syracuse, the Luganville game this weekend, early on ABC, notice how low the camera angle is. Like, I don't know if people pay attention to that or if it's just me, but I feel like I need to be higher. It's like I'm watching the game from the sideline, which is a terrible place to watch a game from. So I think that's part of why you hate it at the Liberty Bowl.
I don't like when they use.
I've never been to a game there.
I don't like when they use
horrible.
the Bengals helmet. Don't like that. Sneaky good games this week. Also brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop, an opportunity. Was I sensing a stake, a willingness to put a stake on West Virginia and TCU there in Fort Worth? What's the point spread? What am I getting in the Mountaineers?
So I won a stake last week on TCU over SMU.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Let me see if I documented that. I want to make sure.
I do remember the bet. I mean, you remember the bet, right?
I do remember the bet.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop. Pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
I mean, wow. I mean, we get a lot of state bets.
Yeah.
So we're
I've
down
noticed.
to 8. I did not document that one.
TCU is favored 12 in Fort Worth. TCU favored 12 over the Mountaineers of West Virginia.
Not 12.5?
It is not 12.5. Y'all can debate that if you want, but it is only 12 right now at mybookie.ag.
So that was last week, TCU and
SMU. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I
So
remember that.
I'm only 8 up now. Ooh.
Oof.
Ooh.
You going with this one?
Oh, and I've lost 3 in a row.
Why do you consider it?
He got me with Fresno over
Yeah.
Arizona State. How did I take Arizona State?
Yeah. That's the way it works.
He got me with BYU over Arkansas. And
This
now,
was you feeling frisky on that Saturday morning, sending me text saying these are the games you want.
And now you got me on TCU over SMU, which I sort of remember, but I was on my psychedelic vacation that day.
I would go TCU minus 11.5.
Yeah, you always do that. It's less. That's a half less than what it is. Why
But
not
you're
12
up
and a half?
8. I used
That's
to
true.
do that with you every
did
time I was
not.
on.
You
too.
did not. Rockstar?
Oh, boy.
Oh, I have no recollection.
Yeah,
I just know there's a lot of bets.
Are you testifying in front of Congress?
Yes, sir.
I do not recall.
I do not recall.
do not recall.
I don't even remember them making
I do not
bets.
recall.
Yeah.
Not at all. I do not
Wait, I
recall.
used to hand stakes back to you.
I didn't, apparently, with Fresno, BYU, and TCU. Easy winners.
You instigated those.
Yeah.
While you guys debate that one, Paul says, I'm curious of your comments on Kansas plus 18 at Texas. Red River is up next. Kansas normally plays Texas well. It is 16.5 right now at mybookie.ag.
I was about to say 18, but
Yeah,
it's
16.
16 and a half?
16.5, Texas favored at home.
I think that tells you Texas is pretty good.
Look, I mean, just look at the rosters.
When he says Kansas is 4-0 and it's not a fluke, it really is not a fluke.
Look, but they did have problems with BYU, and not that BYU's bad. Jalen Daniels is arguably the better quarterback with Quinn Ewers, and I can confidently say that. But you look at the rest of the roster, it's kind of like Notre Dame and Ohio State. And look, that game came down to a final play. I think it's a little different.
16.5 you're comfortable with? Texas at home?
I'm not comfortable really with either side right now, but I would lean Texas in this one.
Yeah, Paul's point is Red River on the horizon, and Kansas normally plays Texas well, or at least they have recently. So
yeah,
I think
this is going to be a topic coming up on Spitting Luke's. On, both these teams look like they've turned the corner in Oklahoma, Texas. And one of these teams could shit the bed and completely destroy that matchup next weekend.
They could, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, just for the record, the first time I was up 11 back in the spring, just a couple of things I may have given you stakes back. Picking the XFL champions, two out of the league, before the draft even happened, before we even saw a game. I picked Vegas and Seattle just out of a spin of the wheel, I think we did, right? We spun the wheel, and I got that. That seemed like a gift. Charles Barkley, while we're at the Regions tradition, whether or not he would hit the green or not, I picked him hitting the green, which in Charles Barkley's history, it would have been an upset.
It's on par 3, but it's a tough green to hit.
Yeah, but he was saying he's playing his best golf going into that.
Was the Warriors down 2-0 to the Lakers when I took the Warriors to win the series? I think it was. The Lakers went on to win that series. Let's see. There was a couple others here. Dare I just say LT more drinks at the Floribama than Alabama completions? That felt like a gift.
Oh, you didn't believe it was going to happen.
You earned it,
Yeah. But you didn't believe it was going to happen.
No, but that's like eating 20 hamburgers in a sitting or something. That was one you went out and earned, but you knocked it out of the park. That ended up being a blowout. So there's been a few gifts back the other direction. It's not like I don't give them away.
All I was saying is when I used to be up like that the half point would lean your way. It doesn't matter to me. You're the one that wanted to play this. I could go either way on it.
Truthfully, I just picked that in the commercial break.
I know you did.
What looked like a sneaky good game. Trying to fight for Neil Brown. Top of the hour, when we come back, we will we'll hear a little bit more about Dion Sanders and what he's doing with college athletics and the uphill battle they have against USC this week on the football field in Boulder. Plus, I want to ask you guys about the unbeaten. We have 27 in the FBS in the Power 5. Tell me who you think ends up actually unbeaten at the end of the season and who maybe just falls apart down the stretch here. Could that be a Kansas team? That conversation continues on the other side. Don't forget Bud Light Game Night tomorrow night. Overtime Bar and Grill. Bud Light Game Night. Overtime Bar and Grill, West Homewood. We're there 5 to 7. Come see us.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
The Next Round golf cart is back and it's presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Live Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
May have given you a steak back in the summer without knowing it. Coming up this weekend, it was a summer bet. I don't know what you saw in Duke, but LT's got Duke straight up this weekend. I got Notre Dame.
Well, I remember us discussing that game and Lance saying
you might have given Notre Dame's favored.
No. I'm no.
You know Duke's going to win this game.
I think they are. But I remember us talking about it, that Ohio's coming off Ohio State. That's a trap game. And I remember saying, that's your classic trap game. And Lance said, I think it's a little more than a trap game. That's a good Duke team this year. Riley Leonard's a good quarterback. Elko's done a good job.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a trap game.
I don't remember the bet, but
I do. I remember you saying that.
Notre Dame straight up for me against Duke, because I remember saying, you're telling me Notre Dame can't go in and win a game at Duke. Come on. Give me cut number 10, Rockstar.
After Clemson wipes the field with them in week 1.
I probably thought that. They'd already lost to Clemson.
Right.
Mike Elko, he's the head coach, man. His stock is through the roof right now. Warning, CPI Security Systems. That's the sponsor there. Doesn't blend in with that blue, does it? The red stop sign.
Take the money where you can get it.
You do. Mike Elko on staying level-headed when you're having success like Duke football's having right now.
You get into coaching and you realize very quickly that you're either the hero or the GOAT, depending on what happens on Saturday. And so, for all the time that I spent on as a defensive coordinator, certainly wasn't my program. I certainly wasn't the face of the program, but you live the same life as a defensive coordinator where you can be, a genius on Saturday and an idiot the next weekend, right? And that's just the nature of coaching, and it just comes with it. And so, I try to maintain a level head. I understand and appreciate all the praise. I certainly appreciate the recognition that our program is getting. I told our kids this morning, I'm excited for them that people are starting to recognize the work that they've put into this thing, and that's starting to get acknowledged on a national stage, because they certainly have earned it and they deserve it. But I also know how fleeting all of this is, and so that's what keeps me grounded, and that's what the messaging is to those guys, is to stay grounded and just continue to be humble and work, and that's what we try to do.
College game day there for the first time coming up this weekend, and he speaks the truth there in our Milo's Sound of the Day, brought to you by the great folks at Milo's, home of that classic burger. But if that's not enough for you, you can download the Milo's app. After your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger for free. Stuff your face, earn free stuff. Download the Milo's app today and start earning rewards with our friends at Milo's.
I think there are two coaches that a lot of people couldn't identify where they even coach based on their name. They could walk through many airports and nobody even knows they're a football coach, that have potential to be in high demand after this year. For if a big program job comes open, for one of these, I think it'd take a big program job. But Mike Elko and Kalen DeBoer. And a lot of even passionate college football fans couldn't tell you who Mike Elko and Kalen DeBoer are.
But I throw Jonathan Smith in that mix too, although they lost this past weekend.
More so with him, Lance. I know he's at his alma mater, but their conference future is so much up in the air.
Yeah, if he's going to make the money he wants to make, he's not going to be able to do it there.
But now Washington, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going as a limited recipient to the Big Ten, right?
Yeah,
they're not
less
getting
than, yeah.
So it's not as if they're. I know Washington's going to the Big Ten, and long term that's going to be okay for Kalen DeBoer. But immediately it's not one of those where this is a cash grab for them. They're still going to be building up. So you wonder what his future is at Washington.
Yeah,
that guy's a good football coach. I mean, he has worked wonders with Michael Penix.
No doubt about it. I agree on both DeBoer and Elko. And going back to Elko, a lot of people, and this is one of the reasons I thought they were going to be good, what they did down the stretch last year. They've now won 9 of their last 10 games. And going back to last year, 9-4, all 4 losses by 1 possession. 3 of the 4 losses by 3 or less points.
Yeah, they were really close.
Yeah, they were really close to having a special season last year. They're a year more mature. You've got Riley Leonard, who's only got 2 touchdown passes through 4 games, but they're 4-0. And I think this is going to be a huge home game, obviously, for them. And they've got a lot of winnable games left on that schedule. I mean, the only game I know that they're going to be a dog in again will be at Florida State.
Yeah, and Patrick, you're right. We're a split household. What do they call it? House divided this weekend. I've got Notre Dame for a steak, but my money goes to Duke with my wife there. She will not be in town for game day.
Oh, that's unfortunate. If she were there, you think she'd go to game day?
She went to Cameron. She doesn't know anything about sports, but she would go just to hold a sign.
Maggie Current, man.
Yeah, she'd hold a sign up. It would say, next round and Duke.
It's a good sign.
Something else.
No, it's a good sign.
Yeah, Maggie, you finish it. Okay.
For the crazies.
Yes.
ESPN, what time is it?
ESPN 2 ish. It's 6-ish. All right, Rockstar, we're going to go around to several different things Forrester has for us, and then I'll need cut 4. It's our hot and cold of college football right now, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services right now offering 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. It's hard to stop a train. Call them now, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
I said football, but let's go basketball first, Forrester. Let's go with Alabama's big commitment yesterday. Nate Oates gets arguably the best, most athletic big man center in program history since they've been recruiting services the last 20 years. 5-star center Aiden Sherrill, 6'10" guy, picks Alabama over Ohio State, Texas, and others there, and instantly everyone compares him to Noah Clowney.
I mean, I read, somebody sent us this, I think it was Paul sent us this, and I can't independently confirm this because I don't follow recruiting all that closely, but I think he told us it's the highest rated big man Alabama has ever gotten.
That's what I just said. Absolutely. Highest big man they've ever gotten.
Jim, did you say that too?
In the 20 years.
Yeah.
But as Paul's pointing out, this class could be Nate Oates' and maybe Alabama's best ever. They're in on 2 other 5-stars. Who knows if they'll get them or not. But one of them is a 5-star guy who is this guy's teammate at the prep school out in California. So it may be a package.
How many years have we
5-stars.
said this in a row with Nate Oates?
Nate's bringing in good.
He's recruiting at an elite level.
So, when does it get to a point where you said yesterday we were talking about preseason Final Four predictions, one team from the SEC, which was Texas A&M. When does Alabama get in that conversation?
Well, I mean, last year, 31 wins, the number 1 overall seed.
Yep.
A little step back maybe this year because, as Brownie would tell you, there's not a lot of experience inside because they lost a lot of big men inside. But down the road, after they get some more experience of the guys they got out of the portal this year and in recruiting, and then Cheryl gets there, maybe they'll be back, after this year for the next year when they get on campus. On the flip side of that, guy's not on campus yet. Flip side of that is a big recruit for Auburn, who is with Auburn all the way up till April, LeBaron Phelan. He ends up going to Kansas now. He was an Auburn commit all the way through April, and now Phelan is a Kansas commitment. 6'3" point guard picks Kansas over Alabama, Ole Miss, and Cincinnati. So Phelan not going to Auburn as expected, was there with him through April, but now he's on his way to the Kansas Jayhawks. There's his announcement. They're listed by Joe as a 4-star commitment there for them at point guard. And then there's the game poster from Alabama after they beat Ole Miss. This goes back to still one of your top 3 TV shows of all time. See if you can tell me, Forrest will have it up on the monitor, You Best Not Miss. What show is that from? You Best Not Miss. It's a back half of a famous quote.
Even I know this.
From this TV show.
Quincy?
Trapper John M.D.
Murder, She Wrote.
Do you remember Trapper John M.D.? Were you holding it up?
No.
I'll give you the full quote to help you out here.
This is so good, by the way. Alabama playing off of Lane Kiffin's.
Have you already seen this, by the way?
No, but I know where the quote comes from, and this is a really, really good. Have I seen the show, or have I seen what Dunaway's showing?
This show.
Yeah, I've seen the show. I saw this scene, and it's probably the most iconic scene from that show.
I'm leaning into your car window. You come at the king. You best not miss. You come at
Was
the
that
king.
Walt White?
Nope.
You come at the king. You best not miss. I can't do it with a Baltimore accent, though.
It's Chalky White.
Oh, was it Chalky?
Yeah, well, it's the guy that played Chalky, but it's.
You're talking about that was Omar.
Yeah,
Omar
in
Little.
The Wire.
From The Wire.
Yeah.
So,
And
that's the team poster after all the talk from Lane Kiffin. You come at the king. You best not miss.
I didn't know you watched The Wire. Did you?
Yeah. Castle's crumbling was the tweet from Lane that sparked this. And, I mean, that is a really, really good, very understated. They only use the back half. You got to know the history to get this. Very understated, but a nice little shot back at Ole Miss right there. I like the creativity of that one.
Seen The Wire twice through and didn't get it.
By the way, the guy in the middle of that right there is getting a lot of praise from fans. It's interesting. Malachi Moore, that first year of his career, he got comparisons to Minka Fitzpatrick, which is lofty comparisons. Minka's a really, really good defensive player. And then Brian Branch was so good, now starting for the Detroit Lions, Rockstars Lions, who will play Thursday night. Branch was so good, Moore struggled to get on the field to the point we had people asking us on the show.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with Malachi Moore? Well, now he's back on the field full time, Lance, and I mean, I'm willing to say he's the best player on that defense. It's played pretty well.
So far.
Yeah.
I mean, Deontay Lawson's right there.
Lawson's been really good.
Kool-Aid's been really good.
Dallas Turner kind of disappeared for a game, but he had a really good game Saturday.
Did you say other than Kool-Aid McKinstry?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I said I think he's the best player on that defense right now. Now, Kool-Aid's really good. Now, here's the problem with a guy like Kool-Aid.
They don't throw at him.
They don't throw at him. And when guys like that get really good as corners, you can go a whole game and not hear their name sometimes. So you're probably right in saying that.
And Arnold played balls to the wall this past Saturday.
He did. But
Kiffin was going right at it.
And Kiffin even said that. Like, we picked on him last year. We tried to do it again this year.
Yeah. Hey, 205-542-3531 before we hear from Dion. And Forrester, can you give me that drone video too? That was funny. I got a funny drone video for you guys too. 205-542-3531 for storm restoration roofing. You know, a lot of companies use drones. Instead of getting on your roof to inspect your roof, they just fly a drone up there. They give you a little once over, and you got to get human eyes up there, right? Greg from Pell City gets up that ladder. He gets up there and he checks out your shingles and everything else up there to make sure you don't have a problem on your roof. The old school way sometimes is better than the new school way, and that's the way Greg does it. Greg from Pell City Storm Restoration Roofing gets on your roof, 205-542-3531. No obligation roof inspection there. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureaus. Insurance companies trust him. Locally owned for over 20 years. He and his wife run the company. It's Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing. Here's the drone video. This is Marshall's pregame. The field's running on, and this is the drone of them coming onto the field. How cool is this?
That's a cool shot. Yeah.
Look at this. Running right over the band, the cheerleaders.
Something's about to happen.
Look at that. No, nothing's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Well, the Sun Belt's going to reprimand Marshall.
What?
For flying a drone over the student athletes, which apparently there is a rule not to do that.
Who wrote that rule?
I don't know.
Hey, I tell you what.
I thought somebody was going to crash a drone.
Well, I think that is the fear. You shouldn't have a drone flying.
Tell you what, here's what we're going to do in this meeting, guys. We're not going to stop the clock on first down so we can save 6 minutes a game. Yeah. And we ain't going to fly drones over players. Y'all want to go to lunch? I mean, who came up with that rule?
Cheerleaders and band too. I mean, you got to protect them as well.
Yeah, we definitely need to protect
maybe
them.
the fans, but the student athletes. That was one Sun Belt reprimand. The other was James Madison with Kirk Signetti brought out the cell phone and said, "Look, he stepped out of bounds. They
showed an official that?
Yeah, he was, and you can't have that technology in
I would
the
assume
coach's
that.
box.
That one's pretty obvious.
Yeah. And he was sitting there showing to the official, just look, he doesn't step out of bounds, or he did step out of bounds. I can't remember which side he was arguing, but he was trying to look to the replay on the phone that they had.
Wow. Yeah, now that's a rule I knew existed. I didn't know we couldn't fly drones over the players.
Little reprimand there. Yeah. All right, here's Dion Sanders going into the weekend. By the way, 4 of the top 7 most watched college football games this year has involved Dion Sanders' team. And you can make it 5 of 8.
You know, I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw their strength of schedule through 4 games is number 4 overall because USC's is 130th. And I'm looking at Colorado. Now, I get Oregon.
Number 4 overall,
really?
really?
TCU's 3-1 now.
I know. I was going to say TCU.
Yeah, but Colorado State and Nebraska are not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, in receiving votes, 26.
Now, nobody's had a killer schedule this year, too, so that plays into this, right?
But I was a little surprised it was that high.
Yeah.
I mean, so they've lost to 9, Brown, and they've beaten the number 32 team in the country, and then they've beaten another Power 5 team in Nebraska.
Sight unseen. You don't remember who was number 1? You just saw those 2, right?
Yeah, that's also it was just the matchup for this weekend.
Florida State's got to be number 1 to me.
Florida State and South Carolina. South Carolina has played both North Carolina and Georgia, so I think South Carolina would have to be up there too. But yeah, you're probably right with Florida State having to play LSU and at Clemson.
Neutral site LSU, Clemson on the road.
Yeah, and South Carolina got neutral site North Carolina and Georgia on the road. So I would say South Carolina and Florida State probably are 2 tougher schedules. And Clemson's is not bad either. I mean, Duke's, I know we still say this, but Duke on the road, and they've had to play Florida State at home. So I think Clemson's is probably up there.
Texas has been on the road to Baylor.
And Alabama.
And they've been on the road to Alabama.
Yeah, that's got to be
both
up there.
getting wins. That's got to be in the conversation as well. But here's Dion talking about what they experienced at Oregon, all the people watching, and now they get Fox and Big Noon Kickoff back in Boulder with USC coming to town for a big Pac-12 game. Here's Dion Sanders.
Your whole life, you've been divisive. People either really
when
love
I came out the womb, I was booed.
Right, or they really don't, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of those don'ts have been very vocal this week. What's your message to them? And then what do you tell your locker room?
I don't have a
guys?
message to detractors or haters. I don't have a message. I don't take my time to respond and to defend myself. Why would I do that? I'm giving you a microphone if I'm doing it. I'm giving you solace that you're in my life. I don't care. I really don't. So if it's been that way all my life, you would think that I'm used to it. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, and I keep going. So I'm good with that, man. I'm good with that. This is a comfortable place for me.
So what do you teach your guys in the locker room who are new?
It's
at
about
this?
us. It's not about them. It's about us. Everywhere we go, even in your darn families, you're going to have detractors, you're going to have naysayers, you're going to have doubters, even in your darn family. And you guys all shaking your heads like, yeah, my aunt, she ain't no good. My sister ain't, she's ignorant. You know I'm telling the truth. That's because it's going to be like that. God would always allow somebody to be in your path that have a disdain or dislike for you. It's up to you to keep going. I don't stop. I keep going. I don't have stop in me. Not whatsoever, man.
I like that. I don't have to stop him. That is pretty good.
Right, he's never changed. I mean, he's never changed.
He is who he is, and that's what I'll say. This is not an act. I mean, he's been doing it for 30 years now.
Did you hear the quote? He got a little talked over by the question there, but I was booed when I came out of the womb.
Yeah.
Booed out of the
womb. So
womb.
you think this will be the number one game in America again this week?
Who's our prime time? Notre Dame and Duke?
Notre Dame Duke. I mean, but Notre Dame Ohio. Listen, Notre Dame Ohio State was prime time last week.
Oh this will be the number one game.
This will be number one.
I think so too. Yeah.
Even though it's 10 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. on the West Coast.
But people will still get up at 9 in L.A. to watch this, won't they, Lance?
Yeah.
They got alarm clocks.
They got alarm clocks. They work fine out there.
What do you guys think about what Keyshawn Johnson said on Undisputed yesterday?
See, I didn't get to hear it.
Said that
he said some dumb things. I'll tell you that.
He has people that have told him that several coaches around the country were calling Dan Lanning to help him game plan against Dion in Colorado this week.
I find that hard. I don't think Dan needed it at all to begin with. I think other coaches have got so much shit going on during the season, they don't have time to do that. It's another one of Keyshawn's dumb comments.
It was almost, and I think Dion responded something like it's us against the world, something to that nature. Much like Ryan Day, Ohio against the world. Dion is Colorado against the world. Lunsford, should we just go ahead and get an Alabama against the world T-shirt rolling in the chat room? Should we just get a Alabama versus the world T-shirt in the nextround.store? Alabama against the world.
Except we're using one word there that may be tough.
Oh, we can't use the word Alabama?
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Alabama's a state.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're not talking about the school.
Sports.
We're talking about the state.
And roll and tide are just two words that have to do with the waves.
Yeah, but if you use them together.
Cease and desist this. That needs to be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, that's for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, do those roll in a lot?
I mean, we don't have that one yet in the store. Cease and desist this. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it.
Put our representative's number on the back.
And by the way, when we do the Auburn one, that's just a city, not a university.
That's right, Auburn, Alabama.
I'll make sure to use the script A and the AU too.
No. Let's maybe avoid
really
those.
drive it home.
Well, you don't think they're selling today somewhere Ohio against the world?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I know they are, and they're probably still a ton of them. I don't understand it. I have never once in my life heard this.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Thinking, but.
Yeah, especially from a guy from New Hampshire. Yeah, he and Dan Mullen against the world.
Him, Dan Mullen, and Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly,
all New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Wow. Pour out some maple
syrup. That's like 10% of the population.
The cradle of coaching.
Pour out some maple syrup for those guys. Charles Barkley on the show when we come back.
I think that's Vermont, by the way.
They don't have syrup in New Hampshire?
I mean, I'm sure they sell it.
Not as good as Vermont.
But I think Vermont is where the maple syrup is based.
I'm going to check New Hampshire syrup export. I think it was an old.
You do that, man.
I think it was an old West Wing.
Hey, Jim's going to show us.
I think it was an old West Wing. Our friends at the Pants Store there for your game day headquarters. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. And ladies, you don't have to go anywhere else other than the Pants Store as well. Pantstore.com for all your skirts, rompers, clear bags, and booties. Pantstore.com are any of the 6 locations: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies, get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store, that's nextround.store.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Charles Barkley on the show momentarily. Overtime Bar and Grill tomorrow night. Tell us about our friends at Hemp Hill as we get to our man Charles Barkley here in a sec.
Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. Call our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. Call now, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We always love catching up with Charles Barkley, one of our favorites, friend of the show. He joins us now for Auburn, Georgia week, the Round Mound to Rebound. Welcome in, Sir Charles. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm not sure how I'm doing.
Why?
Well, because they just put this new rule in football where your offense has to score. It's a new rule they just put in. The offense actually has to score. So I'm not feeling really good about the 2-time defending national champions coming to town.
Okay, so Chuck, your Auburn quarterback's 9 of 23 last week against A&M for 56 yards.
Which one?
I mean,
is that combined?
Yeah, that's combined. 9 of 23, 56 yards. If you're Hugh Freeze, who do you start?
I would probably go with Ashford because I think he can make some plays with his legs. That's just my personal thing because I think he can make some plays with his legs. And that's the only reason. Man, but that was ugly last week. I watched that entire game last week. That was brutal.
Dude, you look fantastic. I mean,
thank you, brother. I'm down almost 70 pounds.
Wow.
I got another 15 to go. I'm going to get to 270. I'm 285 now. I started my journey at 352. I was a fat ass for a long time, brother.
What did you play at? What was your playing weight back in the day?
245.
250.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so we got a picture here, and I don't know if you can see this, Chuck.
He can't.
He cannot see this, but I think this was in Barkley's best playing weight. That is Chuck.
Oh, it's him eat the pizza. That's still at Auburn.
He's got you at college. You weren't 250 at college, right? You were about 225, 235 in college, right?
No, like 285, 290 in college.
Ooh, you carried it well, man. That Charles Barkley used to rock the supper club.
Well, I just used to hang out with fatter people. You couldn't tell how fat I was.
It's how you and I became friends. Did you ever go to the supper club back in the day?
Oh, hell yeah, many times. The supper club, the Hungry Hunter, those were our two hangouts.
The Hungry Hunter?
The Hungry Hunter.
Wow,
was that really the name, or is that what you called it?
No, that was the name. That was the name. But I spent a lot of time at that and the Supper Club. I mean, if I remember correctly, obviously it was like 50 years ago. I think those were the only two places in town.
Yep.
Obviously it's changed a lot down there. And listen, I cannot wait to get back down there. Anytime I get a chance to go home, it's always exciting. I always look forward to going to Auburn. I can't wait to get there. I'm looking forward to me and Bruce's golf tournament on Monday. Me and Bruce do a golf tournament every year to raise money for the basketball program. And so that's Monday. But I'm curious about the game, to be honest with you, because as a player, you can't suck in a batter than we did Saturday. So now you get to see who got that fighting spirit. So I always tell people, the worst thing as a player is to get just like, man, we played awful. We let the fans down. We let the coaches down. We let ourselves down. So now, if you can't get motivated, number one, after that game, but you factor in, you got the two-time national champions coming to town, I expect Auburn to play their best game of the year until the Iron Bowl.
Charles Barkley is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Do you hate Georgia? There's talk from both coaches now about how you play. Like Hugh Freeze said, you should be motivated by the love for your team to win this game, not the hatred for Georgia. He said, I don't know that Auburn hates Georgia. Kirby then answered back, I don't hate them. I used to recruit all those players. Do you hate Georgia?
Not really. I mean, I hate Alabama. That's a little different animal.
I knew that answer. Yes.
You can't have that much hate in your heart, number one. And I really don't hate Alabama. I just want to beat them. I hate their fans because they're obnoxious. Because, they lost 2 games last year, and it was like, oh, kill us now. That's the end of the world. And, and then after they lost to Texas, it was like, oh my God, you got the greatest coach ever, and they're a bunch of ungrateful brats, and that's the only thing I hate about Alabama. Because listen, Alabama's a great program. I got a lot of friends who played there. You know how much love and respect I got for Coach Saban, but I just hate their fans because they're obnoxious and entitled.
It was 3 losses in a less than 12-month period, Charles. That's a lot.
Hey, let me tell you something. If Auburn don't lose 3 games this year, we're rolling Tuma's corner. I'll tell you this. If we only lose 3 games, number one, in any year, not just 1 year, in any year, like if we play for the national championship or win the national championship, I would go crazy. But if we lose 3 games a year, any program would be happy with that. If they play for the championship, 1 or 3 of those, a couple of those years in between. But if you only lose 3 games, come on, man, that's really tough, especially in college with the way your best players leave, the transfer portal. Like, you should have known that Alabama was going to struggle this year. The notion that that's why I hate the preseason rankings, because they're going by what happened last year. The notion that Alabama was one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country, losing Bryce Young and Will Anderson, that's just stupid. The notion that you just gonna plug in 2 guys that went in the top 5 in the draft, like, I don't care how many of those stars you get, you're not gonna replace those 2 guys with just. I don't care, even if the guys are good players, but the notion that you just gonna reload every year, that's just stupid.
You were on the show, Chuck, last November, I think it was, and we were talking about Dion Sanders, and you were like, I got some news that this could be breaking, and you talked about possibly going to College Station and coaching at A&M. Would have been a good move for A&M. But Deion Sanders is the story in college football, even coming off that ass whipping against Oregon. Just your thoughts on what Deion is doing for college football right now. And ultimately, do you think Deion will win a national championship somewhere?
Oh, I think he will definitely win a national championship somewhere. He don't even have his own players yet. And first of all, that game was the easiest game to bet in the history of college football last week. I mean, as much as I love Dion, and I want to choose my words very wisely because I know there's going to be some jackass that try to turn my words around. I mean, obviously, you guys know publicly and privately, I wanted Dion to get the Auburn job, 100%. That being said, he didn't get the job. So I'm 100% behind Coach Freeze. I'm 100% behind Coach Freeze. We've had a couple conversations. I'm a Hugh Freeze guy. I'm a ride or die with him. But what Dion has done so far and what he's going to do, first of all, he's a wonderful person. And let me tell you something. Any coach who has control of young black men, and he tells them, number one, I'm going to sneak up on you in class. If you're not in the first 2 rows, I'm going to run you. Because my job is to make you graduate. If you're not sitting in the front 2 rows, I'm going to run you. If I catch you walking around with your pads hanging down below your ass crack, I'm going to run you in the ground. He going to create men. I mean, obviously he wants to win, but he's going to create grown men. And that's why I love the guy. Like I say, and once he start recruiting, man, I don't know if it's going to be at Colorado. I'll be honest with you. And my worst nightmare of him coming to the SEC. I'll tell you that right now. That's my worst nightmare, him coming to the SEC, because if he screw around and get to one of these warm weather climates, I'm telling you, if he get to one of these warm weather climates, the rest is going to be history. I mean, because the thing I love about him and Coach Saban, see, a lot of these coaches are cowards. They won't hire good assistant coaches. Nick Saban and Deion Sanders, everybody on their staff has been a head coach somewhere. That tells me they're not afraid of having somebody in the room who's just as smart as them or who have been in their shoes. A lot of these coaches are cowards. They say, I'm going to only hire my friends, guys that scared of me or are intimidated. If you go back and look at Nick Saban, man, everybody on his staff has been a head coach or returned to be a head coach. That tells me he has supreme confidence in himself because a head coach can't do everything. And if you go look at Deion's staff, and a bunch of them I know personally, they all either coached in NFL or coached in college and been head coaches. And if you have enough confidence in yourself, you're going to be successful. Because, guys, between kissing ass of the boosters, going to all the BS you got to do, you got to have good assistant coaches when you're not around. Because, especially now, because these coaches got to go around begging for money for NIL. They got to go around begging kids to stay or go in the transfer portal. So if you don't have great assistants, you're not going to be successful. And that's what Coach Saban and Dion have that a lot of these coaches don't have.
Yeah, and to your point, there are some people that may not know this, but he has a big 5-star player, a freshman, Cormani McLean, who's getting very little, if any, playing time. And Dion was asked about it earlier this week because they're beat up without Travis Hunter back there, and Shiloh was a little hurt. Why aren't Cormani getting more playing time? He's got to he's got to practice harder. He's got to learn the playbook more. He's got to go to class. He has to show up on time at the meetings or show up to meetings, period. Basically, he was saying he's not doing anything that warrants me playing him. Even though I need him on the field, I'm not going to play him. And that takes guts to take a loss like he took and not put in a 5-star recruit.
Well, Dunaway, I'm telling you, man, I told you, he's going to create men. I told you, when he tell these guys, yo, man, I'm here to make you great. One thing I love about Bruce Pearl, nobody ever talk about Bruce, and I love him being at our school. He's graduated all his players. Go back and look. I might be mistaken. I might have been 1 or 2, but I think last time we talked, and I'm not going to talk to him again until Saturday, more than likely. like he's graduated all his players. When he took the job, I said, yo, man, I want Auburn to be great in basketball, but I want these young black guys to get that free education. That's my number one priority. He says, I guarantee you all my players are going to graduate. And I think the last time we talked about it, he had graduated every single player who stayed the entire time. And Dion's going to do that, man. And like I say, I'm all in on Coach Freeze. I wish we had hired Dion, but Mr. Cohen decided to go with Coach Freeze. And I told both of them, hey, I'm all in on Coach Freeze. Now, I will say this. If y'all going to be down there baptizing people, please pray for us better quarterback play. Let's get these 3 quarterbacks and baptize them, and maybe the Lord can make them play better, because the one thing you can't do as a coach, you can't have your quarterback playing scared. You can't have your quarterback playing scared or looking over his shoulders. You can't play 3 quarterbacks. You can't play 2 quarterbacks, because that's the most important position in sports. But the number one thing you have to have as a player is confidence in yourself to make good plays and bad plays. If you are scared to make bad plays, you can't make good plays. And right now, they are in no man's land. Like I say, you got to make a decision and live with it. And if you give that kid a chance, he can't do it, go to the next guy. But you can't be playing 3 quarterbacks. You can't be playing 2 quarterbacks. Like maybe around the goal line, you can do a package. But if you don't give your quarterback, Kenny Smith called me to talk to one of his kids yesterday, because he always had me call talking to kids. A coach, because I said this when I talk to his kids all the time. He's a big AAU guy. I said, hey, a coach can't give you confidence, but he can take your confidence. When I talked, I said, yo, man, the coach can't give you confidence, but he can damn sure take your confidence. And if you don't let a guy go out there and play and do his thing, you're going to take his confidence, because he's gonna be scared, plain and simple.
Hey, Chuck, congratulations. We talk about Red Mont Vodka every day here on the show. We love it. 8 times distilled, gluten-free. What is gluten-free, Chuck?
It's something they made up in California, like being a vegan. It's not even a real thing.
But I talked to our friend Eleanor Estes, the CEO of Red Mont Vodka, and she told me you guys have got a partnership. I saw her in front of the signage with the Hawks this year. That's exciting, man. You guys are going to be in the arena. You've got your own bar there, Red Mont Vodka.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited for Eleanor, Anthony, and Montel. They're so awesome. The hard work they do. I'm so proud of my entire team, and things are going great. We've got a big party Friday night down in Auburn. You coming, right, Lance?
I'll be there.
Okay, let's try not to drink up all the profits, me and you, okay?
We'll do my best, my friend.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm going to talk to Jonathan. Jonathan's our distiller.
Yep.
He's the best distiller. He's great. But I'm going to make a decision right now on Wednesday. Me and you could only have 1 bottle of Red Mont each.
That's fair. I mean, Saturday's going to be a long day, so I think that's fair.
No. That's just for Friday night.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Clock reset. Second half.
1 whole bottle each?
Yes.
That's a lot of vodka.
I can do a 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hours in the day, though.
It is.
Well, I've tried to drink with you once before. I won't do that again.
Yeah.
I won't do that again.
I remember
Lance.
helping you up off the floor, dragging you back to the hotel.
It's going to be fun, Chuck. Look forward to it.
Yeah, I know I have to say this. Enjoy Auburn, and we look forward to seeing you soon, Charles. You know we love you. We appreciate the time.
Hey, man, you know I love you guys. Anytime y'all need me, y'all be safe. I'm ready to take my ass back to Arizona, man. It's freezing in Philly. I ain't lying.
Oh, yeah,
so,
yuck.
Once I come to Auburn, it's been cold and rainy, and now I'm coming to Auburn, and I'm taking my big ass back to Arizona. I can't wait to get back to that 100-degree weather.
Maggie and I celebrated our 25th anniversary in Phoenix back, I think it was April. In Sedona and that area, the Scottsdale. We were there for 8 days. I fell in love with the place. I'd been there a couple of times, but fell in love with the place. If I had your money, I may live there.
Hey, I tell people, 8 months a year, Arizona is perfect. It's 70 degrees every day, no humidity. You're playing golf in October, November, December in shorts. Now, it's hot as hell for 3 months a year. I will admit that. But for 8 months a year, it's perfect. And, and I talked to Maggie. You know how much I love your wife?
Yes.
She said it seems longer than 25 years.
Hey, it's the only thing in our marriage that seems longer, trust me.
Standard Dunaway joke there. All right, Charles. Thank you, buddy. Always good to see you.
All right, guys. Y'all be safe. War Eagle.
All right, buddy. Take care. That is the great Charles Barkley with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
That guy's a card. All right, part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa, and then we'll talk to Elijah McAllister, Auburn linebacker, coming up on the other side. So close to a pick six in that game the other day. So close. Off his fingertips. Could have taken it to the house. Maybe Elijah gets a big play against the number one team in the country. We'll talk to him on the other side. Tell us about Woodhouse.
Yeah, treat somebody to the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spots, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. You can buy gift cards online 24/7. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com or just stop by, see Stuart Casey, and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, we're about to talk to Auburn's captain, one of their captains. But hey, what about a big weekend from Kentucky's Maxwell Hairston? He was the guy that got beat for the game-winning touchdown pass by Vandy last year. Turnaround payback game this week. Not one, but 2 pick sixes And he's the SEC Defensive Player of the Week.
That's hard to get 2 pick sixes in one game.
You get beat for the game winner last year. Same game, 2 pick sixes. That's paying it back.
All right, Elijah McAllister, Elijah McAllister, I'll try that again, is the Auburn captain and is with us each week, courtesy of Craneworks. The big guy says don't forget the big dog when it comes to Craneworks and RentalWorks. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Elijah? How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks a lot. Listen, I know it was a tough loss there in College Station, but you, man, in this league, you just do not have time to dwell on a loss. You got Georgia on the horizon. You know, how difficult was it to turn the page from a game where you guys did not play like you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, not too difficult than it is any other week. Coach Freese has this thing we talk about Mondays. Mondays are about the truth. He tells the truth about the game, win or loss, and then we throw it in the trash after we watch film on Monday, and we kind of transition to the next team. So we kind of put the game last week behind us on Monday and started to focus on this week's opponent.
What was the truth about the Texas A&M game? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think he expressed how we had a lot to improve on both sides of the ball. He felt like we didn't, play well enough to win that game, and it's something that, we can improve on and still have an opportunity to play well this week and have an opportunity to give ourselves a chance to win. So it's just little things that we got to continue to improve on that he preaches every day. We just didn't execute this past week.
Breaking news out of College Station about an hour ago. Looks like Connor Wegman is done for the season with that injury he sustained against you guys. Max Johnson came in and played extremely well. Was there a big difference between the two quarterbacks?
Not so much. Not a huge difference in our eyes in terms of their ability. They're both really good quarterbacks and both can make plays and make some throws. And Max came in and did a really good job for them. I think again it always comes down to what we didn't do as a defense, and we played well throughout the game. But we could have played better, and without some busts, we could have held them to less points. So.
Obviously, with your experience at Vanderbilt, not your first rodeo against the Georgia Bulldogs as the #1 team in the country, back-to-back national champions. What do they do well that makes them so good at this point in history?
Yeah, I mean, they're talented. They got a talented roster. They're well coached. They're gonna try to run the football to start, and they're gonna play really good defense, and they're gonna allow everything to come to them at the end of the day. So it's the same story for Georgia that they have been the past few years in the SEC, and there's no real difference now this year. We're excited for your opportunity. We feel like, again, defensively, we're going to continue to do what we do and improve as a defense, and then offensively as well, we're going to improve and go in this week with some confidence.
They get the reputation of being more physical maybe than anyone else in the SEC the last 2 years. Do you find that game to be more physical than other games?
Well, I feel like in a way they try to establish the run game a lot more so than other teams, and that gives them the title of the being the most physical. In the SEC, everybody's physical. Everybody, comes to bring it in any given week. Anything can happen. You know how this league goes. It always has been that way. It's any given week. So.
Elijah McAllister is with us, the Auburn team captain, courtesy of Craneworks. The big guy reminds you to look for the big dog when it comes to Craneworks and RentalWorks. They have been a bit of a slow starting team, though. Georgia has only scored 17 first-quarter points in their first 4 games. Have you seen anything on film that tells you why that they may not be as explosive early on offense?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen anything on film. I try personally when I watch film, I try not to focus on games. I try to focus on the type of plays we're going to get and what I'm going to see when I'm out there. So as far as the totality of the game, I don't really necessarily look as to why they started slow or what the reason to that is. But I don't really know, honestly.
They've got dominant units everywhere, but when you watch them on film, how about this offensive line for Georgia?
Yeah, they always have really good offensive line since I've been in school, and they're long, they're athletic. Again, they're going to try to establish a run early, so it's going to be a nice challenge for us as defensive line, as every other week. Particularly when you get in this league, though, just continue to stop the run, continue to prove that we can do that on a consistent basis, and then get to the quarterback. So we're excited for it. We're just excited for it.
There's been some discussion about the Jets locker room in the NFL now. They're struggling after the Aaron Rodgers injury to score points, create offense, and the defense, the headline was, getting a little fed up with the way the season's going. You're such a positive guy. How on defense, where you guys are playing good football, are you trying to encourage and be positive to the other side of the ball? Is that conversations that happen in practice, pregame, or in the course of a game?
Yeah, it happens every day, honestly. And just, like football, anything can happen, and we're all family. Everybody wants to preach family and brotherhood in any locker room, but it's important to really live that out every single day. So there's going to be games where we're not going to play up to our standard, and the offense is going to have to come and score a lot of points. And there's going to be games where we play up to our standard, the offense is, and we got to, bail them out in some ways. So there are conversations like that, and I don't look at it as offense versus defense or offense, defense, special teams. Like, we're all one team. So if I play to my standard and defense plays to our standard, the offense does as well, then, the more games we're going to win. So that conversation, that positive energy continues to, show up every single day because it's what's needed,
Do you hate Georgia?
I don't necessarily hate, Georgia. Like, I think Coach Freeze had a good quote in there. He said, he's not a big guy of hate, just, spread love. And that's kind of how I live. It's my first time playing this rivalry. So I know there's some bad blood there, and I'm going to, play my hardest and do everything I can out there to help Auburn win. But as far as hate, I don't even really look at it that way because I don't like any opponent we play, to be honest. So,
were you? I'm sorry, I have to ask this, but the game was moving. There were a lot of games going on. Were you on the field for the Eugene Asante scoop and score for the defensive touchdown?
Yes, I was right there.
You're right there because so was Jimbo Fisher, and I'm just curious if you came.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't see him.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, I'm chasing Gene and I'm running after him. And I didn't see Jimbo. Like, I literally did not see him. Like, the only time I knew was people on the sideline, like, do you see the coaches on the field? Like, what do you mean? Where? So it's just funny. Maybe I was running with my head down or something, but I did not see him.
I didn't see him watching from my couch until they did replay.
Yeah, it was the replay, and Eugene Asante actually has to go inside of him to avoid him. It's
I wish
crazy.
you'd have blocked him. I wish you'd have laid him out.
I mean, because that's something like you're looking for a guy to lay out at that point, right? And
I'm looking for anybody to block it. Any color that comes across my face that's not wearing white. And maybe because Jimbo had white on, that I just assumed he was one of my teammates. Like, I just, colors fly. He had a white jacket on, so I'm thinking he's one of my teammates, and he's running past him,
That would have been awful if you'd have laid out Jimbo Fisher. I don't know you could survive that. You're a big guy, Elijah.
That'd be a poll question whether or not it'd be awful or not.
I mean, it would have shaken. Yeah, he's an old tough coal miner, though.
Yeah, he's got that West Virginia in him. I think he might have survived it. All right, Elijah, good luck against Georgia this week. We always appreciate the time. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yes, sir. See you next week. Appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thank you. That is Elijah McAllister, the Auburn Jack linebacker, courtesy of Craneworks. The big guy says, remember the big dog when it comes to Craneworks and RentalWorks. All of our guests, we're going to head over to Talladega in a little bit. All of our guests appear on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Johnston RV Center is the #1 selling Cherokee dealer in the state of Alabama. They're the best one you can go to. Cherokee is the #1 brand in America. It is the #1 brand in Alabama. Johnston RV Center sells them better than anybody, and they start as low as $199 a month. You heard me right. Just $199 a month can get you in a Cherokee. See more at Johnston RV Center. And if you're a member of the military, I hope you know how much we appreciate you making America the greatest nation in the universe. No questions asked about it. Well, they love you at Johnston RV Center as well. To show just a small token of their appreciation, they give you a great discount whether you're retired or uniform military. See more online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. That is JohnstonRVCenter.com. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, exit 334 in Decatur.
Missouri this weekend with a tricky game. In fact, it was upset alert time, wasn't it, for you? Missouri Vanderbilt?
Yep.
Brady Cook, questionable. Luther Burden, questionable.
Oh, no.
Defensive end Darius Robinson, their best pass rusher, questionable for this game. Not ruled out, but questionable for this game.
I mean, I'm not sure who the best receiver in the Southeastern Conference is, but Luther Burden is certainly in the discussion.
I'd want him on my team.
I would too.
Again, from East St. Louis, so there is that home link, but the money that is going to be thrown at that guy in the transfer portal in the offseason is going to be crazy.
That is a huge loss.
Yeah. Burden the third is probably the best all-around athlete in the SEC.
When I was going back on Sunday, and I go back and watch a lot of games on Sunday, I guess it was Monday night when I caught Missouri and Memphis playing at the Rams' old home, the Dome there in St. Louis.
Edward Jones Dome back in the day.
That's where they played that game.
Yeah, it was a nice Missouri crowd, but there was a lot of empty seats in the upper deck. I thought there'd be more Memphis fans there than there were. There were some, but not as many as I thought. That place looks like a dump.
Oh, yeah. It looked like a dump when the Rams were playing
did.
there. I can't imagine what it looks like now. I guess the Battle Hawks play there.
It was the Coleman Coliseum of the NFL.
Yeah. It was always so dark.
Yeah.
It was always so dark. I never liked it when the Rams played there.
And they have that field turf where they try to make it look like natural grass. So, like the Tampa Bay Rays had it for a while. Just jacked up turf.
Yeah.
Didn't like the look of that game at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Burden, Xavier Leggett, or Malik Neighbors, but Luther Burden is definitely in that discussion, and that is a massive loss if he does not play for Missouri.
All right, NFL coming back Thursday night with Detroit and Green Bay. One thing you'll notice on Saturday night for the prime time Notre Dame-Duke game day's there, and then the broadcast will not have Chris Fowler on it because Fowler and Laura Rutledge and our buddy Orlovsky will be in London for the Europe game, as they'll have Jacksonville and Atlanta at 8:30 a.m. Central Time on ESPN+. So no Chris Fowler this week. Reese Davis and Herb Street will call that Notre Dame-Duke game in prime time Saturday night. When we come back, we talk about racing at Talladega and a lot more college football. LT's got trash, and we'll do one more hour right here on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's Fall Invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our not for all ages podcasts like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 and the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA. The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Oh, the best tequila in all the land. Maestro Dobel, Diamante Tequila. If you're coming to town looking for something to sip on when you're out there parking and tailgating at Talladega for the weekend, make it Maestro Dobel Diamante, the only tequila that's aged in wood barrels that are from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. They've done all this research to take away some of the bitterness or the yuckiness of tequila and give it this crystal clear 100% agave flavor that is so good. Try it out. It is smooth. It is great. It's simply good over ice. That's how good of it. You don't have to mask it with anything. Maestro Dobel Diamante, the tequila of choice of the next round. We're about to talk racing in Talladega, but big news going on in sports. Connor Wegman done for the year, according to reports. Also, Mel Tucker in the process of officially being fired today at Michigan State.
Yeah, that's all the reports there. I thought it had already gone down. Lance reminded me in the break there that they said they plan on firing him. So apparently my guess there is the paperwork is done. The amount of money Mel Tucker is going to receive to go away and be quiet has been settled.
Yeah,
upon.
that was why you can't just fire someone in today's society. You have to go through the process. Looks like the process is done.
Yeah, but you got to think Mel Tucker walked away with some money.
Yeah. So it wasn't the $77 million that was guaranteed left. I would say in the neighborhood of $25 to $30 million, probably.
It's probably a deal.
Maybe so, because the lawyers of Mel Tucker had hinted this week to the athletic director that if we did research into a couple of your boosters and your personal lives, I bet we could find some skeletons too.
Yeah,
and you didn't hear any response from Michigan State.
Crickets.
Right, yeah.
Our friends at NASCAR racing coming this weekend. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. I've been telling you all month. World's fastest speedway, 200 miles per hour, door handle to door handle, 2 playoff races, truck race on Saturday, Yellowwood 500 on Sunday, Hardy in concert Saturday night. Your race ticket gets you in to see that concert. It's all at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Brian Crichton is a good friend of ours. He is the president there at Talladega, and I know he is excited about this race weekend coming to the world's fastest speedway, and he's with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Brian? How are you today?
Man, I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Dunaway's got it all covered, so I can go home now.
All right.
That's right.
We'll see you, man. Thanks for being with us.
Will you let him? Can he wave the green flag? Can he wave the flag for you?
Ooh.
As long as he doesn't drop it.
Hey, dude,
he knows Dunaway well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I know people pay to do that or get the honor of doing that. That thing hangs out over the track, doesn't it? And those cars at that speed right there. I know it's get up speed when I'm waving the green flag, but some people stay around there and watch a couple laps up to speed. I don't think I want any part of that. That seems like the brave of heart.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're already doing it. You said when I wave the green flag.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're already positioning yourself up there.
I can't.
But no, you're exactly. It takes them about a lap or two to get up to full speed. And yes, they do stay up there just to experience that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I haven't done it yet, but I mean, I can only imagine the feeling.
This is one of the most unpredictable races of the year. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's one of the things that's great about college football right now is we've got parity. There's always parity at Talladega. I don't know if you know this offhand. Over the last 10, 15 years, how many different drivers have actually won on Sunday?
Oh, yeah. Put me on the spot there. I appreciate that. We're definitely, over 10 to 15 years, you're looking at 20 to 30 different races, obviously 2 a year. So I'm going to go over under with 18.
Yeah, I wish I had the number to tell you. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I could believe that.
I mean, who was it that we had on a Friday, and we were like, the guy's got no shot, and he won it?
Yeah, I bet you remember this race, Brian. Now, this is going to go years back, but I remember Russell Branham, our buddy, calling us up as like, I think it was David Reagan. Am I right about that?
Or was it Stenhouse?
No, it was Reagan. It was David
Reagan.
Reagan. And he's like, I don't know if you guys got time to have him on, and we can't say no to Russell. You know that. So, yeah, we'll put him on the show. We don't know anything about this guy. We'll put him on the show. And then we jokingly like, okay, you've been on the show. Now you got to go out and win the thing. And dadgum if you didn't go out and win the dang thing.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are that good luck charm. I think Keselowski was on with you guys, too.
Yep.
He wins.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of time winners here, a lot of one-time winners here. At Talladega, it's just that unpredictable. So you never know, of course, until any race finishes, but especially at Talladega. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Sr. back in 2000, coming from about 15 to 18 spots back with like 4 or 5 laps. It's just unbelievable. The racing the 2, 3, 4 wide at 200 miles an hour, it's breathtaking when you're here.
You mentioned the Earnhardt name there, Dale and then Dale Jr. They loved Talladega still to this day. Dale Jr. does. and they were fan favorites there. Is there a fan favorite at Talladega now? Is there an adopted son of the track that get more cheers than anybody else right now at the track?
Yeah, Chase Elliott. So, Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jr. used to always say when they took the lead, they could hear the crowd over their engines. That's how loud it got. And it's the same way with Chase Elliott right now. So when Chase Elliott, I can be anywhere in the facility, and if I hear that roar, I know who took first place, and it's typically Chase Elliott.
Hardy is in concert. I like Wait in the Truck. That is a really good song he and Laney Wilson do. But
what's your second favorite?
Huh? He does another one called Truck Bed. There's one. What's the other one he does? There is another one he does, Brian. But he's going to be in concert. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. You're going to be, I mean, if you haven't heard Hardy before, he is a unbelievable artist, a great songwriter, and just the performances he puts on are great. So he's been opening up for Morgan Wallen, but now he's selling out stadiums and arenas right now.
Yeah, such a big name to get there on the Saturday night concert.
Yeah.
But I think he has helped write with Morgan a lot of Morgan's big hits, right? Is that the case?
Yeah, he sure has. And, he wanted to play here at Talladega. It's a great story. He grew up over in Mississippi. So he from 12 years old for about 10, 15 years, he and his father would come over here to Talladega Superspeedway for all the NASCAR races. So he knows about Talladega. He knows how special this place is. So, in kind of our conversations, we found out he wanted to play. And so that was just an easy, get for us just because he is so, huge and his passion for this place.
So how many, because we get them here, and I've already gotten it from multiple people, how many ticket requests do you get week of for the race on Sunday?
I mean, nobody ever asked me for tickets or passes.
Okay, well, we know who to call.
Lance is about to call you as soon as we're done here.
Yeah. No, they, it's funny. We were kind of joking about this in the office the other day. It's, like if I go up to a gas station, it's not like, hey, can I get some free gas? But I mean, if I work at Talladega Superspeedway, I was like, oh, can I get some free tickets? I'm like, that's the product I sell. That's the
yeah. But because we talk about you guys, they think we can give them tickets.
I know.
It goes deep. So yeah. But it's affordable out here, and I think that's what people don't understand either. Because Saturday we have 12 and under are free. Tickets start at $45. We have free parking here. Yeah, we allow you to bring in a 14 by 14 by 14 cooler with any beverage, any food that you want to bring into the stadium. You just can't bring in glass. Same thing on Sunday with coolers. Kids 12 and under start at just $15, and adult tickets start at just $60. We got great 2-day tickets. If people want to camp, we actually have free camping. So we started loading them in on Monday, and you can stay until the following Monday. So a whole entire week of free camping. All you have to do is have that Sunday ticket. And of course, you have that Sunday ticket, you get the Hardy concert as well. So I always tell people that, when the information about how, inexpensive it is, they're surprised and they end up coming out.
All right, 877-GO-TO-DAGA, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com for all the information Brian just gave you, and buy those tickets for the Talladega Superspeedway race coming up this weekend. I think if you haven't moved recently, you live in Lance's neighborhood. If you need your grass cut or driveway pressure wash, he needs tickets. I mean, I'm not trying to negotiate this. I'm just saying.
No.
I've got a 14-year-old. So, Lance, if you need your driveway power wash or your grass cut, let me know. I'll send him over there.
Okay.
And,
yeah, I was about to say, I don't need tickets. I've got somebody that needs tickets.
Yeah, Lance ain't
manual labor, no thank you.
Yes, Lance ain't doing that. I can promise you. All right, Brian, y'all have a great week over there, man. We love it every year, and happens twice. It's a great event for our state and our area. We appreciate the time.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate your support.
All right, buddy. Take care. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DAGA to get tickets. Brian Crichton, the track president, there with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And again, your race ticket for Sunday gets you in to see Hardy on Saturday night. That concert and all the free camping and everything else that goes on with the race weekend, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Part of the show today being brought to you by a friend, Champy's Chicken, always this hour, Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you're heading to the race, your tailgate at the race could be just that wonderful southern fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order, or those hand-cut chicken fingers, or the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Great beer and bar items there, including Megan's Margaritas that you get at Champy's Chicken. Right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It has been there for a decade, not going anywhere. Champy's Chicken, Champy's Chicken. .com. Race weekend happening. Big baseball again tonight. Cubs need to get back on winning ways if they want to make the playoffs. Playing Atlanta tonight. 4-team race for 2 spots with a game and a half separating Arizona, the Cubs, Miami, and Cincinnati in that order. In the American League, Texas, Houston, and Seattle separated by 3 games. Seattle beat Houston last night to keep hope alive. One of those two likely not going to make it, either Houston or Seattle. They play each other again tonight, unless Toronto falls apart. And, of course, Toronto lost last night. So,
and they've got Garrett Cole going against them tonight. So
down to the wire for several of the wild card races in Major League Baseball as that continues on. And Brooks Robinson passed away yesterday, and a lot of people who watch our show do not know who Brooks Robinson is. He came up as a 19-year-old in 1955. He was one of my favorites of my grandfather. Brooks Robinson played third base, considered by many old-time baseball people the best defensive third baseman of all time. Had a big World Series in 1970, I believe it was, to lift the Orioles to a world championship over the Cincinnati Reds. And Jim Palmer was in tears last night on the Baltimore broadcast when they had informed him that Brooks had passed away, and at age 86. And they asked Jim to come on the either post or pregame show and say some words about Brooks. And Palmer, like Brooks, made it all the way up to the big leagues at 19 years of age. And he just broke down. He said he took me under his wings. He knew what it was like to be a 19-year-old and in Major League Baseball, and talked about how he mentored him even afterwards. He was a very private guy from Arkansas and just took Jim Palmer, who was very out there for his time, endorsements that didn't happen in the 70s. Jim Palmer had those. Brooks Robinson was a very much, roll up your sleeves, blue collar, just go to work, do your job for 23 years, all with the Baltimore
The
Orioles.
vacuum cleaner, they called him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that his nickname, though, the vacuum cleaner? Because he sucked up everything.
Yeah, and I think most people still consider him the best defensive third baseman of all time. 2 World Series championships. I heard Buster talking about him and his great Brooks Robinson memories after, working for the, what was the Baltimore publication?
Baltimore Sun?
Yeah, the Baltimore
Sun,
Sun for years. But he's got, and we can catch up with Buster tomorrow on that, but he's got some good Brooks Robinson stories.
Brooks Robinson there at the age of 86, passing away in baseball terms. All right, tell us about our friend Dr. B, and we'll continue the football conversation here at LT.
Again, when I started to thin out, Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone recommended. Went to see Dr. B, and since that initial meeting, my hair is more than doubled in thickness. Again, I do the non-invasive treatment on the couch 3 times, 30 minutes each time per week. T3hair.net for more information. Dr. B offering that Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Again, T3hair.net or call 205-319-0316.
Hey, by the way, yesterday and today, the college football commissioners that run college football in the playoffs are wrapping up today their second of 2-day meetings about the future of the college football playoffs. Mike Oresco, who is the commissioner of the American, some consider the most powerful of the group of 5, and he is a big former TV executive as well, says he is okay. He's in favor of going to the 5-7 model with the demise of the Pac-12. The Mountain West commissioner, she says that is digestible. I think what has been told to them yesterday as they made these comments is if you guys don't want to sign off on this 5-7 deal at some point, we're going to go to the 12 best available teams.
Which is what I wish they would do.
Which would block out the group of 5.
Yeah, unless they're in the top 12.
Yeah. Yep. Again, I don't mind the group of 5 having one. I think 5-7 is the answer here. The 6-6, they thought they would slide that through the door with the Pac-12 dissolving. And I will say this, even with the 5-7, when you look at Washington State and Oregon State, if they end up in the Mountain West, those could be teams that year in, year out rotate and end up in the college football playoff.
Because currently there's only one group of 5 team even ranked right now, and that is Fresno at 25. That's if you use the AP poll. I don't think there's one in the coaches poll.
Yeah, Tulane was preseason.
They were, and they have since fallen out after their loss to Ole Miss. But in the future, Oregon State and Washington State would meet that criteria, and they are at least ranked. But, I mean, if you look at the coaches poll, there's not one in there. If you go by the coaches poll, it's interesting. even as much as they have quote-unquote struggled, Alabama would still be in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, in fact, we've got a CBS, Forrester, that CBS projection that we get every week of what the 12-team playoff would look like under the current format. And Alabama does making in at number 11 because of the alignment there.
Give me that freaking playoff right there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you talk about Fresno and not wanting necessarily a Group 5 there. Fresno could play with some of these teams, including Oregon.
Yeah.
So Fresno would be the Group of 5 that would get in. And then you take the top 11 teams. Andy Staples doing that, with that projected 12-team playoffs. That would have Georgia, Penn State, Texas, and Florida State getting byes. And then Notre Dame, USC, Ohio State, Washington.
Ohio State got a shitty draw.
Boy, they did. Have to go to Washington and they get Penn State.
Yep. Oregon and Fresno State and Michigan and Alabama.
Man, I mean, who doesn't want that? Seriously, I mean,
we're about to get it.
Do you know anybody that would not want that? I mean, you're getting Notre Dame, Southern Cal, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State, Washington. Even if you turn your nose up at Oregon, Fresno, which I'm with Lance, I think that'd actually be a good game. I mean, I can get Bama, Michigan in the Big House. I can get Notre Dame, South Carolina in South Bend. And I can get Washington, Ohio State in the Horseshoe.
Yeah, and play it forward. Just imagine
Sign me right
if
up.
you got, let's just say Washington won that game, Washington, Penn State, USC, Georgia, Oregon, Florida State, and maybe a rematch.
Yeah.
Alabama, Texas.
Is there some rule that prevents 4 from one conference? Did I miss that?
I don't think so.
I'm not aware of
Did
that.
they cap it at 3? Because for some reason, Andy leaves off Utah, who is number 10 in the AP poll, and puts Alabama, who is 12, in there. I wonder
I don't know.
why
That's
he
a
would
good
do
question.
that.
I don't know why, because Utah's 10 in both polls.
Yep. Interesting why he did that. Maybe he's projecting out that not that many teams playing head-to-head could still be right there, whatever he's doing. Just as every week when we see that, we always think to ourselves, oh, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be a blast.
Notre Dame would be hosting USC.
Yep.
That's a rematch, but you got to get
I don't
used to
care.
that.
Don't care.
Ohio State would be hosting Washington. Michigan would be hosting Alabama in a December game in Ann Arbor. And Fresno would be in Autzen there.
I mean, tell me what's wrong with that. Find something wrong with that.
Yeah, next year that's what we'll go to. Keep in mind
that could be a snow game in Washington too.
That could be a snow game in Ann Arbor for Alabama.
Keep in mind that right now 2024 and 2025 still 6+6, and we'll see if the Group of 5 commissioners say, okay, we can start 5+7 next year if we make it a long-term deal. If they hold their feet to the fire and make it 6+6 the next 2 years,
they won't.
Greg Sankey and them are about to take their ball and go home.
Yeah, can't roll the dice.
Yeah, you can't roll the dice. All right, when we come back, we'll get to trash. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Hydra Live. Tell us about those great folks, LT.
Yeah, again, weekend right around the corner. You need to fuel up, get game ready. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. They're open 7 days a week. The newest location in Hoover, right there in Greystone. One in Homewood, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mention Next Round at checkout. You're going to save 20% off any service. If you can't make it to Hydra Live, not a big deal. A nurse can actually come to home or business. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hydra Live Therapy and HydraLiveTherapy.com for more information.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around. And you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
With you on the Next Round as we roll towards trash right here. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Redmond Vodka. We were talking to Barkley earlier. What part of the Barkley conversation did you like most? Him referencing, what was it, 281 Auburn students getting baptized?
That was pretty funny.
And
pray for a quarterback.
Throw the quarterbacks in there too.
Yeah, pray for a quarterback. Maybe we can get some quarterbacks down there and baptize them, and the Lord will bless their play. Yeah. That's a pretty funny line for Charles. I give him credit for that one.
Yeah, tell us about Redmont as we get ready for a big weekend. I don't know. It goes good with chocolate or a granola bar or
a Lunchable.
almonds.
Lunchable. What was in the Lunchable?
Smoked turkey and I forgot what cheese.
You know what I've got where I do on weekends?
What's that,
No
Jimmy?
joke.
What?
I almost when I'm watching football, and I eat four or 5 meals when I'm watching football.
Okay, I do too. I eat all day. It's not great for the waistline, but it is great for football.
It is not, but here's what I do. It's that between lunch and dinner, and usually it's middle of the 2:30 game. I almost make my own homemade Lunchable. I get some sandwich meat and cheese,
right,
and I roll them into little logs, and I get some crackers, and I sit there, or a pretzel chip, and I'll sit there and eat. And I think to myself, Lance would love this. It's like
an adult Lunchable.
It's a homemade Lunchable.
So
I like the Lunchable. Now it is more the adult. It's the Oscar Mayer. It's the one with the kind of the wheat, not the wheat, then the Triscuit,
right?
That people either hate or love.
I have a traditional. I love Saturdays, college football Saturdays, and I am a creature of habit anyway. So we finish our show at 10. I immediately get in the car and I drive to my local supermarket, and I get what I'm going to eat during the game all day. And I'll get like maybe a couple bags of chips. I don't go through the whole bag, but I want some variety as the day goes. I get some candy. Like I get boxes of Runts, and I eat Runts the whole day.
Yeah.
Or Whoppers. I get a bag of Whoppers or Starburst or something like that just to eat during the games. I love college football Saturdays, man.
Yeah, Redmond Vodka is part of it for me some mornings, mimosa before I join the show with you guys.
Yeah, hey, a proud partner now with the Atlanta Hawks.
I heard that earlier. That's
yeah,
great news.
You head over to a Hawks game, you're going to see Redmond Vodka all over that arena, locally owned and operated. You saw Charles Barkley earlier, one of the great faces behind it. Redmond Vodka made from corn, which not only makes it gluten-free, also provides that smooth finish, no harsh aftertaste, 8 times distilled, gluten-free. Pick up a bottle this weekend of Redmond Vodka.
Keith asked buggy or cart, Brown. I get the little, what do you call that? The basket. Yeah, I get the little basket.
That's what I do on Saturday mornings, too. Now, sometimes I'll go buggy. If I've got to get wine and beer, I got to go buggy.
Yeah, but what he's asking, is it a grocery buggy or grocery cart? It's a southern northern thing.
I call it a
grocery
cart.
Yeah, grocery cart.
Yeah.
I think I call it a shopping cart.
I call it a shopping cart, but sometimes I grab the buggy. So I'm all over the place.
But again, I told you the market I go to doesn't have a cart return.
That's right.
So they expect you to take it all the way back inside. That's when you push it towards their daily special sign on the curb.
See if you
I've knocked it over a couple of times.
Hit the sign and stick it.
Just get it close enough there. All right, Trevor Siemian picked up by the Jets.
That'll fix it.
Much ado over nothing. I'll tell you who they should get. John Wolford, is he still on your roster?
Johnny Football.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a more experienced, better quarterback, in my opinion, than Zach Wilson is.
I just love the discontent in the Jets locker room. I do love it, actually, as a Dolphins fan. But they think that Robert Saleh has become a apologist for Zach Wilson. And I'm like, what do you want your team to do? All right, be realistic about this. What do you want your team to do? You went out and you signed Aaron Rodgers to give yourself the best chance of winning a Super Bowl. He gets hurt 4 plays in. Nobody could see that coming.
That's right.
I mean, what are you supposed to do now if you're an NFL team? There are no good options.
Right. There's 64 of these quarterbacks that are signed under contract that are on rosters.
Right. And by the way, 32 of them aren't even good starters.
Yeah.
You don't have 32 good starters.
Yeah. So is number 65 going to be able to get you to where you want to go?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's just a bad break. It happens in the NFL. The unfortunate thing is people think they've just tapped out playing Zach Wilson. They believe it's their best option.
Right.
Yeah. He did look good in preseason. Daniel says go get Dorian Thompson-Robinson for Cleveland. Problem is you'd have to give up something for him.
So now I got to go trade. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and really, how good's Dorian Thompson-Robinson going to be once you go against ones week in, week out?
That's right. Looked good in the preseason, but that was often twos against twos and threes. Can I throw one out? What's the rule on practice squads, guys? If you're on the practice
they're
squad,
protected.
Yeah.
They're protected?
Yeah. I think some of it depends on how many. You can only put them on practice squad 1 year at a time, right? You can't go back-to-back years.
It's a little different.
But they have to clear waivers at that point, I think.
Yeah, I would think you would have to clear waivers.
Yeah, so I think they have cleared waivers if they're back on a practice squad for a second. Why? Who are you thinking
Sitting in Green Bay. He's got 2 championship trophies. Alex Magoo of the Stallions sitting there on the Green Bay practice squad behind Sean Clifford, who's number 2.
I mean,
boy, Green Bay is an injury away from really being in trouble.
I saw that Kellen Mond got signed by somebody. I mean, that's how desperate. Or he was in a camp yesterday. Kellen Mond was. You remember Mike Zimmer?
Yeah, I mean, Kellen Mond for a minute was the backup.
I know. Mike Zimmer was asked about Kellen Mond once.
RTD4. I wish they would sign T.J. Yeldon just to run the Wildcat.
A.J. McCarron's back in account.
Yeah, he's back there.
I mean, they're trying everything in the NFL. I just don't know. I get that the Jets players are frustrated.
Hey, listen.
But what are you supposed to do?
Your hands are tied usually at this point. September has been Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Every 2.1 minute, a new case of prostate cancer is diagnosed here in the U.S. Around the age of 40, you should get your PSA checked. We always recommend our great friends at Alabama Urology Centers of Alabama.com, Urology Centers Alabama.com, Urology Centers Alabama.com. UCA has 35 urologists on hand at 16 locations around the state. I didn't know that. 16 locations around the state? Can't beat that. It's Urology Centers Alabama.com, Urology Centers Alabama.com. Time for that prostate check. If you're around 40 or older, get that thing checked out. Urology Centers Alabama.com. Rockstar, let's do trash.
Bag up, Terry. What in reverse, Terry? What in reverse? Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. What you doing, Terry?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Scott was commenting that the newest Trash Open, the guy that was the eyewitness to the jet crashing, is on his Mount Rushmore of Trash Opens.
Great interview. The man's wearing a Kevlar vest.
Yeah. And it started me thinking, what would I put on the Mount Rushmore of Trash Opens? And I think that is one of them you just played. But, boy, it's hard to narrow it to 4 for me.
I like the dude that didn't he pass away? Donnie.
Oh, Donnie Baker?
Yeah. Donnie Baker passed away.
Yeah. What are we doing?
No, that one
Leslie,
too.
That's Leslie Jordan.
Leslie Jordan.
Yeah, I like the guy that he saw his old man at a Molly Hatchet concert out of respect for the music.
We nodded out
of respect for the music. That was a top 5.
I like the guy that climbs Mount Everest that is gay. I mean, blind.
I mean, gay.
I mean, gay. Wait, he's blind, not gay. I like that one.
I liked it when the car crashed and they got out and they were all running around and thought it was bees and they were just on drugs.
It drink good.
Yeah.
It Drink Good was a
Good's a
classic. And then you can never go wrong with Cure in the 2020 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's excited as I am.
Well, it sounds of it, no.
Landmine Believer's right. Me and the dude with the chainsaw in the back with Brown's giggle.
It's a classic. I don't know what I could do for a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it'd be
it's very
tough.
difficult.
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply, mortgageright.com/TNR or call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first. An Ohio man is being charged for falsely reporting an incident after claiming he'd been attacked by a bear, allegedly in order to get help getting out of the woods. So he gets stuck in the woods.
Oh, wow.
Acts like he's being attacked by a bear. Now, according to a criminal complaint, first responders were called in the early morning hours of Friday, September 22nd to assist a man in the woods. Dispatchers said the man claimed he was injured, stranded along a steep terrain. The dispatcher said while on the phone with the man, he said, quote, "Please help me," and that he was being attacked by a bear. The man also allegedly claimed that he had been walking for days, his phone was dying, and the bears were circling him, and he was going to die. Now, the man
They circle.
Yeah.
Like sharks.
Man was later identified as Kristen Leonhardt, 47 years old. Deputies say they and several search and rescue groups responded, attempting to locate Leonhardt using emergency lights and sirens to both scare away bears and point the man towards their location. Criminal complaint says while on the phone with dispatchers, Leonhardt allegedly continued to say the bears were stalking him. Then he began screaming. He also allegedly claimed to have a head injury and was bleeding. Dispatchers said they advised him to apply pressure with his shirt if he was bleeding badly. According to the complaint, after a 2-hour search, they finally found him. Once they were at his location, he allegedly denied medical treatment. First responders said he was not bleeding and did not have any visible injuries. Deputies said that he was extremely intoxicated and apologized for wasting their time.
Now, Charles asked, why not just say you're lost in the woods? I think this is going to be if he's lost in the woods, he's got to pay for the search and rescue probably. If he gets attacked by bears, I think it's an emergency situation and he may not have to pay.
The easiest thing is to say that somebody was chasing you with a knife.
Yeah.
And they were screaming they're going to kill you, and you don't know where they went.
Now, I would
how I got here because I was just running, not paying attention to how I got here.
Right. Now, I would also say if I've got a good enough cell service to get a call out of there, I can hit Google Maps and maybe work my way out of there too, right?
Like if you're possible, yeah.
If you're
good, it never works for me. When I use the walking one, like I'll put it on walk and I'll start like walking this way and the arrow flips around. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
So I'll start walking back that way and the arrow flips around again. I'm like,
You got to get in the map. That's what you got to do. Before you start, you got to get in the map and figure out which way we're pointing, and then you're good to go.
I just feel like no matter which way I walk, the arrow goes.
Yeah, turns you around.
I didn't really. I saw a preview for this the other day, and I forgot what network it is. Maybe Sci-Fi, maybe USA. But Chucky has his own show, the Chucky doll.
Oh, it's 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
I can't believe it's still going. I think it's on Sci-Fi or USA, one of the two.
So a Chucky doll was arrested and handcuffed along with its owner. Now, according to local media, the subject used the doll to scare people and with a real knife asked them for money.
Yeah,
now, the curious thing about the case is that the diabolical doll was also detained, even handcuffed, an image that quickly went viral on social networks.
We are never going to figure out who that cop is, Rockstar, if they black out right over her eyes.
Yeah, is it a guy?
I don't know, man. I can't tell.
She's got the Punisher sticker on her vest.
The old Policia. This happened overseas.
Yep. Carlos and Chucky.
Draw us an insignia. I got it.
Sent to the municipal divisions on charges of disturbing the order and putting people's safety at risk. It turned out that the action of placing handcuffs on the doll was due to the insistence of the media.
Yeah,
so the officer who carried out the act was sanctioned.
Honest to goodness, if we were drawing police logos on our upset alert, we would do a better job than that one that's on their wall.
If I was picking Policia plus the 12.5.
Yeah, it is off center.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, they're like, we'll throw something around this.
Hey, is Chucky growing his hair out?
Yeah.
I was going to say he's not caring right now. It's got the summer cut.
Yeah. Chucky's just giving up on life, I believe. I like how we cuff Chucky, though.
Well, he's smiling in the mug, though.
Yeah.
At least.
So, Rocky, you were on Bumble. Were you ever on Tinder?
I was not. Tinder was not my.
What about Grindr?
Grindr was a mistake for about 6 months.
You know,
fooled me 6 times. It's my fault.
You know that they have a Tinder exclusive now or something.
That's what I'm getting
Oh,
into.
wow.
Oh, don't jump the headline there,
All
Jimmy.
right,
D.
go ahead.
Yeah, so Tinder is looking to cater to the 1% out there.
Please.
The dating app has introduced a new premium tier that carries a charge of $500 per month. But even if you can and want to afford that, you're still going to have a hard time getting into Tinder Select.
Say that again, $500 a month.
$500 a month. That's because
Yeah.
the company has started taking applications for memberships, but notes for now, Tinder Select has limited availability and not all Tinder users have access. Less than 1% of users will be eligible for the top tier level. Now, those who do get into the level, which comes to $6,000 per year, will have access to a few unique perks. For instance, Select members will be able to sleep with the creator's mom, it says here. No, I'm kidding about that. Select members will actually be able to send up direct messages to someone, even if they haven't matched.
Up to 2, even if they hadn't matched.
They'll also be able to see and be seen by Tinder's most sought-out profiles, the company says. And if a Select user likes someone who isn't gold or platinum level, that person will still see the Select user's profile unblurred in their likes you grid.
What I love is the fact about that is like the most sought after people, like a woman that's a 15 out of 10 from Las Vegas. She's finally going to be able to see my profile.
I know.
And, she's like, oh my God, this guy in Birmingham, I'm all about him.
I mean, $500 a month, you're going to have to give some more guarantees on here.
I mean, $500 a month, LT, you could pay for a date, buy a date.
That's illegal in a lot of places.
Rent a date.
But-
And if you've got that kind of money to pay $500 a month, you're probably not struggling in the dating game, I would think.
Do you? So is this designed to try to get the wealthy, or just try to
stupid?
Yeah,
stupid,
I think
yeah.
the stupid and wealthy, yeah. And it probably works both ways. You know, if chicks have access to this, they're going to find somebody that's obviously got money. I mean, if you got $6,000 to drop on
That's
per
right.
year.
That's my point. If you're that wealthy, are you really struggling in the dating game?
Yeah, it is kind of a weird mix we're looking for here.
Because you guys always point out, especially you, LT, that guys with money have really good-looking women, even if they're butt ugly.
Yep, very true.
It happens a lot.
Yeah. You were surprised I was as broke as I was after meeting Maggie. You're like, damn, I didn't know you were that broke.
Yeah, but she was young back
good
then.
point. Good point.
Hey, a suspect was taken into custody in North Hollywood on Sunday after leading L.A. police officers on a slow-moving chase in a reported stolen golf cart, as you see right there.
Yeah, 20 miles an hour is about all you're going to get out of that.
According to the police, officers received a call just after 9 p.m. about a robbery on Ventura Boulevard. The caller said a golf cart was stolen at knife point, according to police. Suspect, who was shirtless, shoeless, and was seen holding a dog in his lap, led officers on a chase that reached speed of about 19 miles per hour. Now, when the officers were able to box the suspect in after turning into a parking lot, suspect hopped out of the golf cart and attempted to flee while carrying the dog. Police say he then dropped the animal and was ultimately taken into custody.
Come on, Bullet. Let's get out of here.
I just got a video of Bullet and Chili, both in playtime right now.
All right.
Yeah.
In the yard?
No, they're indoors at Creative.
They got sent off.
That's
Don't you
right.
remember?
They're locked up right now.
Yeah.
They got a little yard time out of the cage.
Getting yard time right now. But they'll be back next Monday, and they're both going to be awesome.
So you have another weekend dog free?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of got to this weekend because I'm going to be in and out of town.
Yeah.
So we've got the Mr. International Beauty Pageant. It's held every year.
Oh, I didn't get my invite, right?
The personal favorite of most people's part of this competition is the national costume segment, which each contestant dresses in a costume that best represents their country.
So this is the men's answer to the swimsuit that we've now eliminated in the women, right?
Oh, my God.
Well, the reason I do this, I mean, this is Indonesia. I mean, obviously that's Indonesia. You guys know that.
Clearly Indonesia, right?
But how it gets, I did the USA last because you got to think of what someone thinks of encapsulates all of America. So we'll go. The next is.
what was that though?
Go back to Indonesia. What is that? Is that
it looks like a snake or?
Yeah,
looks like a snake.
Got a lot covering the midsection.
I know.
That's a lot of flair.
And the way that's elongated, I think
he's trying to send a message. Yeah.
Now he was on Grindr when you were on there, right?
Yeah, but he's one of those ones that I would call unapproachable.
Grindr Select.
Yeah. Here is Cuba.
All right, we don't have a costume for him. Somebody go to Halloween Spirit.
Look how awkward he's standing.
Hey, he's just embracing. They used to be fantastic in boxing in the Olympics.
You think he's a legit boxer, Rockstar, or is that just a costume?
No, you can tell by his body. That's a big belt too. He's got some good legs. Obviously, that's Canada.
That's
Wait,
Canada.
no.
That is not Canada.
Yes, that is Canada.
No, that is not.
I could have guessed. I would
I would have said Israel.
Look at the. There you go.
What? Zoom in. I can't
No, it's
see.
a Florida Lee.
Rockstar.
It's a Florida Lee.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I would have
He's
guessed
a Saints
LSU.
So I could have gone, yeah.
If you saw
Mardi
him on
Gras.
the corner of Pat O'Brien's, that would not be a shocker,
Oh,
right?
yeah. He'd be collecting money. Wow. Hang on. Let us guess.
Las Vegas.
Nope, Romania.
I'm going to say, yeah, Romania's probably right. Dude, you went Dracula. That's why you went Romania, right?
Well, he's actually a magician now, so I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah,
France.
that's what I did.
I'm going to go France.
It's France.
Boom.
Is it really France?
I recognize my French. I spoke French on the show yesterday.
Give it to us again.
Game of the year. Somebody told me I went too fast on him. I said, that is my strategy. If I don't know how to pronounce something, I just say it fast.
This is Clay Aiken, North Carolina, right?
He's delivering the mail.
A puffy shirt, what was it? Pony Express back in the day.
It's the Netherlands.
That is Switzerland.
Well, that was close.
Dude, I saw some steel shots of Switzerland yesterday. It looks like a beautiful place.
Don't you want to go?
Yes, but do dudes carry purses over there?
It looks like it's made out of wood.
It's a man bag.
First of all, it's a merce. It's a mouch.
No, that's a purse.
And when the next one is Brazil. When I think of Brazil, this is the exact person I think of.
This is going to be over the top exotic. Nope, it's not.
Wow.
It's the guy going to work.
Yeah. I tell you what, we just work in Brazil, man.
The final
What
one
happened
is
to Carnival?
9 to 5 in
That's
Brazil,
right.
man. I got to roll up my sleeves
You are
here.
not going to outwork Brazil.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
The final one is USA. What do you think encapsulates all of USA?
Oh, it's got to be freedom, right?
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty.
Wrapped in the flag, man. Wrapped in the flag.
Elton John.
It
Dodger
is.
Stadium.
What team is that?
Wait, so let me ask
Is that a baseball player?
Oh, it's definitely American League.
It's a big bat too.
Yeah.
Is this
Why are we represented by our designated hitter?
Oh, he's the catcher.
is this an alternate guys
Universe?
pageant?
I
don't know a whole lot about it.
I mean, the dude's got like rouge on his cheeks, right?
Yeah, he does. He does.
And that's what all baseball players do before they go to bat.
So, some people call it eye black.
He's got a bedazzled bat.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's never been in the box before. I feel pretty comfortable about that one.
Always do. Putting that hand up. Oh. That's trash.
All right.
That is trash. Brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200, or online, mortgageright.com/TNR.
Daniel said the baseball player might be blind. I mean,
Andrew says he's a switch hitter.
yes, I agree.
All right, that is trash today. Champies brings you this hour of the show. Champies Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Can't beat Sterling. Just a great human being, runs a great business, and cooks great chicken. It's all right there. ChampiesChicken.com. Back in a moment.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Final segment of the Next Round brought to you by our friends at Michelson as we look one more college football thing, LT.
Hey, if you've been thinking about getting LASIK done, stop procrastinating. Look, do what I did over 20 years ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Went in, got the procedure done. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michaelsonlaservision.com.
Metallica, Alabama in the chat room, the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, asked Dion to Michigan State. I don't think there's any chance Dion takes that job.
No way.
If you're just joining us, Mel Tucker, if you thought like me, he had already been fired. He had not. He's officially fired now from Michigan State.
That job, though, is so much better than the Colorado job.
It
So
is,
much better.
but there's no way I would take it.
I don't think he would take it. You heard Barkley say this. Hey, he needs to get somewhere warm weather, and I think that makes the most sense, the logical sense. He's not going to take that job that fast because the only job you would take that fast is a big-time job.
Tell me what you think. This is Richard Johnson, SI.com. Mike Elko, Duke. If you're Mike Elko, do you take it?
I would.
Yes.
I think I would too.
Yep.
The Kansas coaches, Lance Leipold, Chris Kleiman.
Yes.
Both of them?
For Leipold, not Kleiman.
Okay. Charles Huff Marshall, I think that's an obvious yes. Willie Fritz Tulane. God, that guy's a good football coach.
Yeah, what is he, 61?
I think he's 62, Jim.
Yeah. I don't think. I think that situation is really good for him.
I mean, if I was Michigan State, I would definitely ask Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely ask
First
him,
call.
Yeah.
Be my first call would be Deion Sanders, but I don't think Deion would take it. I'm with Troy. I'd say no if I was Elko. I mean, Michigan State, I can understand why they would ask.
But if you're Elko,
but if I'm Elko, I would say no, because if this season plays out or next season continues to be good, I'm going to get a better job than Michigan State. I think Mike Elko quickly is on a lot of people SEC list.
Yeah, but Elko seems like one of those guys that likes these challenges. And, to take the Duke job was a roll of the dice to begin with. Michigan State, we've seen them in a college football playoff.
Yeah, here's where I was getting.
Roll of the dice.
Here's what I was getting. He mentions a lot of guys, even some coordinators. He mentions Bill O'Brien as a possibility leaving New England, which I'm sure New England right now with the state of their offense would gladly sign up for that.
I saw that when Kane Womack was on this list as well.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him on this particular one. He's been on some. But one that got mentioned, I was talking to Lance about it, you stepped out in the break, was Mark Stoops at Kentucky. I don't think I'll leave Kentucky for this.
I would not.
And everybody just assumes because Mel Tucker was making $9 million that this same Rocket Mortgage guy is going to pony up the $9 million.
$9 million a year, yes.
$9 million a year. Yeah. And, I mean, a lot of time now, for the right guy, he might, but you got to understand how these guys got this wealthy. They don't just stumble into this money. They ask questions like to the athletic director, all right, last time you had me here paying $9 million, that was a complete and total disaster. So tell me why I should give you $9 million a year now.
Well, what I would say...
We guaranteed this guy you told me we had to have, and now we're firing him. And I'm having to stroke him $20 million. Thank God I'm not having to pay him the
but then I would say
million.
you stroked that. He stroked his whatever.
Okay,
yeah. And look, Mel Tucker to me was set up. It was not a bad hire to begin with. It was a bad contract extension. They should not have given him that after 1 year. They should have let it play out a little more. Now, almost every program is guilty of this, but what I would say is, do you not like the hire? We've got to hire somebody.
I like him fine, but again, you're asking me to guarantee now another $90 million. We had to basically set a guy up and blackmail somebody to get out of the last $90 million. So explain to me why this one's better.
Guess what? We can set him up if it doesn't go well.
Okay, well, you better have a plan.
Boy, Breadman says when Lanning comes to Alabama, Dion to Oregon. I don't think you would want Dion and Nike teamed up together. That would be.
You're talking about just the recruiting.
Yeah, like the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
What would be more dangerous?
Championships.
Dion at a place like Alabama, with all of the history and resources. I mean, Oregon's got the same resources, but better fertile recruiting ground.
Oh yeah.
Better conference.
Here is the concern. If you are a traditional power in Deion Sanders, is all of a sudden it's not about you anymore. It's about Deion Sanders. And I think for some programs that works fine. I don't think the Alabama people.
I agree. I don't think you would
the
ever.
Auburn people, and I think Auburn had the first chance at this.
Well, and Charles Barkley on the show earlier wanted him. Yeah,
could stomach the fact that it's going to be prime all the time. You even mentioned it earlier this week that as you watch Colorado games, the official University of Colorado, it's been a tradition since back in the 70s. They give one commercial break, part of their TV deal, to each institution to run a recruiting ad for their school's academics. And Colorado's was what, Brown?
It was prime everything. It was like prime location, prime views, prime education, prime social life, prime professors. Yeah. And I think somebody said in the chat room they showed Dion on the commercial one time. I couldn't even remember if he appeared on the commercial.
Yeah.
But everything was prime. And even the school president's on at the end is like, Colorado is the prime university. So they have embraced it. I mean, it's all about Deion Sanders at Colorado, but it is working for them.
It is. It's working great. All the free advertisement and tuition, enrollment.
Just wait to see how it shoots up.
Will shoot up, right?
I mean, they're the number one TV product every single week now in college football, just about.
It'll shoot up.
And it will be again this week.
It will be again this week, yeah.
But I don't know if Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, whatever, blue blood, whatever word you want to use, would stomach having it more about Dion than about the program.
I will say this. You put him somewhere that has access to Georgia and Florida recruiting, look out. Now, I think the guy can coach. I think he's I think the show overshadows the fact that he's a good football coach, I think. And I said that when he got the Colorado job, what he did at Jackson State.
And as Barkley said, he also hires really good people.
I mean, like Charles Kelly's his defensive coordinator. That guy's been in the game forever and, had ties to Florida State. Charles Kelly, he was a defensive coordinator at Jacksonville State when I was at school there.
I know he's got talent to work with Deshaun Lewis. The offensive line's been a train wreck, but Sean Lewis has done a really good job calling plays.
Hiding this is unbelievable. Yeah. And listen, I mentioned it earlier to Barkley, and I've forgotten the 5-star kid had signed there because everybody wanted Cormani McClain.
Yeah, I remember
all
that.
The big players. And he's a 5-star corner. And they're hurting at corner. Shiloh left the game this past week.
He's in the hospital. He's pissing blood right now.
May not be able to play.
Yeah.
The other kid, Travis, had a lacerated liver, didn't play at all.
Trying to play.
Yeah, so they were down DBs. And this kid wasn't getting considerable playing time because he won't do things right. That's how good of a coach he is.
Yeah, no, I think Prime's a good coach, and that's what I'm saying. You put him somewhere where he's got access to Georgia and Florida recruits, that guy, there is no telling what kind of program he could build. And I don't know, Florida State, obviously, Mike Norvell's got that head in the right direction. I mean, I just wonder if Billy Napier maybe hadn't turned it around at Florida, and we'll see if he has. If you're Florida, do you make a bold hire like that? I mean, it's it's a guy that played at Florida State right down the road.
He has got a axe to grind with Florida State already. You've seen it. I mean, some of the comments.
Yeah, I'm not a Florida State grad.
Doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, I'm not a Florida State grad. That's interesting. Don't forget Overtime Bar and Grill, Bud Light game night tomorrow night. Overtime Bar and Grill 5 to 7, 6 to 7 on the air. 5 to 7 we'll be out there. Overtime Bar and Grill, West Homewood on Lakeshore. Anything else?
No, overtime today, by the way, DJ Football. Me and Daniel Jeremiah talking about the week that was in the NFL and what's coming up.
Look forward to that. There are a certain number of undefeated teams, 27 of them. Which conference has the most undefeated teams left right now?
I think it is the Pac-12 because you've got Oregon, Washington, Utah, USC.
ACC.
It's the ACC.
Yeah. How many they got? 6?
Yeah.
5 in the Pac-12, 6 in the ACC. Florida State, North Carolina, Duke, Miami, Syracuse, and Louisville still unbeaten. Syracuse hosts Clemson, Louisville with a tricky game this week.
Yeah, I think on the surface both probably go down.
5 in the Pac-12, Washington, USC, Oregon, Utah. Your T-shirt, is that Washington State?
Yep. Wazoo undefeated. And by the way, Wazoo undefeated and good too.
Undefeated and good.
It's not
and they're not playing this week, so they'll definitely cruise into next week.
They haven't backed into undefeated. They've played some good teams.
4 in the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's not there anymore.
No.
Ohio
State won.
Oh, Ohio State did
Dame.
win.
Yeah. Felt like a loss at times.
So I got it right the first time, Jim. Stick with what you
wrote. Who we got
Michigan,
now?
Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland still unbeaten.
Yeah, kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Mike Loxley's Maryland team with Talia Tagovailoa playing quarterback. I think they'll probably come back down to earth, but good start for them.
3 in the Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas play each other this week.
Yeah, you're going to lose one of those.
And 3 in the SEC, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri. Not the 3 we thought, but there's 3 nonetheless.
I think you could realistically lose all 3 this week.
In the SEC?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you will.
Realistically, Auburn has a chance?
I mean, yeah, they got a chance.
Well, it is a slim chance.
I think they're going to play a good game this weekend.
I get the feeling like
you and Barkley, man.
Yeah, you lean Auburn. Because you said it right at the start of the show. Somebody was asking you, can Auburn get inside the number? And you're like, oh yeah, I think they can get inside the number. I mean, you sound like you could foresee this being a one-score game going to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, I don't know if it's going to be Ashford or Peyton Thorne. I think it's probably going to be Peyton Thorne. But if it is Peyton Thorne, you got to get in his ear and remind him he's had good games before. It's been a while, but he went into Wisconsin, won a game in overtime where he played clean football last year.
Brown Bandit says, old Josh Pate saying it's going to be a one-score game, Georgia-Auburn this weekend.
That would be an incredible coaching job by Hugh Freeze to get quarterback from where we saw it in College Station to having Georgia as a one-score game go to the fourth quarter.
What scares me about Peyton Thorne is that if you go back and watch that game again, there are plays that he
was scared to throw.
Looking downfield. He's ducking on a sack, 2 steps before the sack even gets there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the state, you got Milroe staying in there and letting the ball go while he's getting doubled over.
You're absolutely right.
That's the kind of throw you got to make sometimes.
You got to remember, too, Carson Beck is making his first career road start in Jordan-Hare.
It's a tough environment. There's no doubt.
I would ride with Robbie Ashford. I really do.
I think
you might have to.
Just hope you go good Robbie Ashford.
I think his legs is the reason why, It's like we said about Milroe. He's the athlete that's going to get you out of the trouble.
Yep. I think I would go Robbie Ashford this weekend myself. How many unbeatens? Real quick, 15 seconds.
26.
At the
27.
At the end of the 12-game regular season, how many people will be unbeaten?
I think you'll have 1.
I'll go 2.
Georgia and
I don't know. I'll just go 2. I don't think it's going to be a lot.
I'm going to go 1.
Georgia, Texas, Michigan for me. I'll go 3.
Wow.
All right, that's the show today. DJ Football, a little NFL talk with Brownie coming up in our overtime today at the top of the hour. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to sit back and enjoy. But if you want that kind of content all the time, Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. War Down Pods, Roll Tide Pods as well over there. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Welcome into another DJ Football. He is the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. I am Ryan Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at MoveTheSticks. At MoveTheSticks is where you follow him. You see him on the NFL Network. DJ, what is up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It started to cool off a little bit, so I'm getting a little bit of that fall football feeling. So that's nice. And I've had back-to-back roadies, so I've been traveling on Saturdays with the Chargers. So this Saturday I'm home. So I'm excited to have a college football Saturday for the first time in a few weeks.
Yeah, so Nashville and Minneapolis for you. And, of course, in true Chargers fashion, they go to the last play every single week.
Always.
That's all you ever get.
3 weeks in a row. So.
Yep.
It's crazy. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to fill. I just don't. I don't know what it's like to be like, geez, we still have 8 minutes left in this game. We got to go big picture, I guess. It's a 3 touchdown game. Like, Don't even know what that's like.
I know. I mean, part of that is fun.
You on the other hand, you on the other hand got to shut that one down pretty early. Last week.
I watched every play. Don't you worry. I watched every single play. Yeah. I wanted to go for the record. I was hoping to get the record.
They could have got the 3 and got the record, but I was I know you have the stuff in order what we're going to get to, but I'll go off script here. But
go off script.
The takeaway I had on that game, first of all, was if you're like, I think about if you've had a terrible day at work, and everybody can relate to that. You've had a bad day. You're on your way home. You call your wife, and you're like, man, it was awful. It's just an awful day. And you get home, and she surprised you with your favorite dinner. And then, maybe there's you guys have a movie that you love, and she's got that all queued up for you. It's, we're going to kick save a really bad day. It's just a thoughtful thing to do. I wonder if Mrs. Hackett, when Nathaniel Hackett walked through that door after just, Zach Wilson can't play, we can't get a first down. I mean, this is a nightmare. He gets in, she's got a nice steak. She's angled at the kitchen table towards the television, and she has the Broncos-Dolphins game all TiVo'd up, just ready to start. And he just cheered him right up.
Yeah, there's only one game I want you to watch, honey. I know you've had a bad day. You lost to the Patriots. But I can cheer you up. It's a team in your division. You're going to have to cheer for a team within your division, but I think you're going to like this. I really, really do.
You're going to enjoy it. You're going to really enjoy this.
Let me ask you this. We're going to talk about some of the games, but you were at an NFL stadium at the same time that game is going on. When you start seeing that score on the scoreboard, what is the reaction when you're like, wow, they're up 42-13? Oh my gosh, they're in the 60s. Oh my gosh, they're 70. They're up 70-20. I mean, what is the reaction? You don't ever see this.
Well, they got to 35 so fast. And so that I was seeing it I was following it. I always have the scores up on my computer.
Right.
And I'm not following it closely. You're calling the game, but you keep an eye on it. I mean, it was definitely a double take. Wait, is that second quarter or whatever? So then I would angle the computer towards Matt Money Smith, my play-by-play guy with the Chargers, and show him, and he just kind of with his eyeballs. But then they put it up on the screen. They were rolling the scores. I think it was at halftime, and they're just rolling the scores on the screen. And everybody's, eating whatever, and all of a sudden that one came out. You heard an audible gasp followed by laughter. You could hear the laughter in Minneapolis. It was definitely something. It registered. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. We're going to look at a lot of games that happened over the weekend and look ahead till next weekend. But since we're dancing all around it, let's go ahead and hit our first topic. The show presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round at MyBookie.ag. This week and this week only, you get a 110% sign-on bonus. So your initial deposit, they're going to bonus you 110%. It is yours and yours forever. Play it once and win. You never lose it. They're at MyBookie.ag. Code next round at MyBookie.ag. Look, I mean, we are 3 games in, so this question is way too early to be definitive. But is there a chance this is the best offense in the history of the NFL this year?
Yeah, that's a strong question coming off a 70-point game, so I think it's worth asking. I put it this way: the best ones that I've seen, the time I've been old enough to really understand it and pay attention to it, I just jotted these down. To me, the first one would have been going back to Minnesota with Moss in his early years with Chris Carter. It was similar. And I've compared this offense to that offense because obviously different body types, but Tyreek Hill is this generation's Randy Moss, where he's just faster than everybody else on the field and nobody can do anything about it. So I would put some similarities there with that Minnesota offense. The ironic thing is, so you have Tyreek Hill has played obviously in Miami. We'll put him on this list. His Kansas City offense is at their height is pretty spectacular. And then I would say the Randy Moss on the Patriots would be the other one. So you're talking about
common denominator. There's a common denominator.
You have the best receiver on the planet on both those teams. And then gosh, what was the last one I would say just during my time would be early on in my I came into the NFL right after this run, but would have been the Rams, because there's some similarities with the Dolphins. Greatest show on turf, because that was kind of it was a little revolutionary the way they were doing it. I mean, they were all the shifts and motions, they kind of introduced that whole thing, and they were getting guys running free all over the place, basketball on turf. So or football on grass. Basketball on grass, what's that phrase, Ryan? Help me out with that. Basketball on grass.
I think you had it right. You're good.
Okay, dance around it. But 3 games, I can't say they're the greatest of all time. There's not enough. There's not enough sample size. But I think that those are the conversations that come up with those offenses. Is there anybody that I'm missing? Any offense that I'm missing in there?
none jump to mind. When I was growing up, the Bill Walsh 49ers offenses were revolutionary. And then George Seifert,
that was efficiency. Like there's a difference. There's a difference of like, holy crap, they're going to score from anywhere.
And I know as a lifelong Dolphins fans, the OK gun in Buffalo worried me a lot when you had, Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Keith McKellar, the Jacksonville State University product at tight end.
James Lofton was on a couple
James
of those
Lofton.
teams, right?
Yeah. I mean, those were really, really good offenses there. Don Beebe. You remember Don Beebe? Yes. So, there have been a lot of them. This one has a lot of balance. I mean, they are running the ball better this year, and they certainly did Sunday. They did everything well Sunday, but they're without Jeff Wilson right now. Raheem Mostert has been really, really good. He's added some weight, but he hasn't lost speed. A-Chain has been a remarkable rookie.
A-Chan. Did you see he changed that now?
A-Chan.
Yeah, he came out this week. I just did a whole thing on this on the podcast because it's travesty because now it's everybody's called him A-Chain forever. After the 200-yard game, he goes, "No, I want to be called A-Chan." And I'm like, you know what? It's a bummer because I had it all queued up for the podcast today because he goes for 200, and I had the Quad City DJs come on, ride A-Chain and ride it. Woo, woo. I had changed all the lyrics. I was ready to roll. And then now with A-Chan, it doesn't work. The bit doesn't work.
I will call him anything he wants me to call him. He has been tremendous as a rookie. Yes, he's been tremendous as a rookie. So fast. That's what Mike McDaniel wants in that offense is speed. And he's got track speed. I mean, that's what they drafted. They drafted him because of his speed out of Texas A&M.
Yeah, and the thing that works hand in hand is when you have the speed on the outside that they have with Tyreek and with Waddle, that's going to create space. So how do you want to attack space? You want to attack space with more speed. So they expand you with their outside speed. Now there's less to navigate for when you want to run the football. So it's really a tracks team. It's really beautiful how it's all come together. And Tua's on his way to, he's the front runner right now, I would have to say, for the MVP, the way he's played through the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would have to say that. But did you realize that he doesn't even lead the league in passing yardage? I will test your NFL brain. Do you know who leads the league in passing yardage?
I will say Herbert's got to be way up there coming off of a
way up there
game.
Yeah,
and then I would say CJ Stroud might be sneakily up there pretty high too.
I think he's number 4 if I am not mistaken. I will pull this up to confirm, but I was looking at it last night when I was getting ready for this. I think it is Kirk Cousins. Does that surprise you?
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me. I just seen him last week. I know he threw over 300 again last week. So, and Jefferson goes off every week. Jefferson, how about that? He missed it by 1 yard. No receiver in NFL history has gone $150 in each of the first 3 games to start a season. He got the 149 in week 3. Wow. Missed it by a yard.
So Kirk Cousins, you were all around it. 1,075 yards so far this year. Tua with 1,024. To be fair with Tua, he didn't play the entire fourth quarter, so he missed an entire quarter, and he could have probably thrown for 300 yards that one quarter. Justin Herbert, 939. Matt Stafford after last night, 910. And CJ Stroud, 906. That's your quarterbacks that are over 900 yards. So
I think that Stroud's the most. Yeah, but I think Stroud would be the one that's the biggest eye grabber there, attention grabber.
Yep, I would agree.
With his name being on that list. Hasn't turned the ball, hasn't thrown a pick.
I know. Save it. We're I got to get over here. Save it. We're going.
Oh, I know. I see. Oh, he's a rookie? Question mark.
He's a rookie. CJ Stroud is.
Nice.
So Buffalo and Miami play this weekend, and you did your AFC power rankings. You can do your NFC at the end of this week. We are not going to do the entire top 5 of the AFC, but I think it's pretty easy to say those 2 teams plus probably Kansas City would represent the top of the AFC right now.
No, I think that's fair. I think it's fairly obvious. And I think Buffalo from that week 1, it looks more and more like what we had said. I think they probably more lost that game than the Jets really won it. With Josh Allen turned the ball over as many times as he did. Now Josh Allen's playing much better. The defense has been lights out. Sean McDermott kind of taking that thing back over, and they're playing great. Even with, Tremaine Edmonds leaves in free agency, you can make a case they're playing better without him. Bernard's played really, really well in that spot. So the Bills are rolling there. The Dolphins we just talked about, we know what they bring to the table. And the Chiefs have I don't want to say that they're already on cruise control, but you just pencil in 12. You start with 12 wins with them. You see how many above that they'll end up getting, but I don't see them winning anything less than 12 games.
There were some surprises in this past week, none bigger, and I felt like an idiot because we talked about Dallas last week, and I sit here and say, boy, it could not have been a more favorable start for them. They get both New York teams in Arizona, and then they go out and lose to Arizona. What happened to Dallas?
Well, first of all, I issued a formal apology to the Arizona Cardinals and their organization because I thought this was a foregone conclusion. They were going to wrap up the first overall pick. They were not going to be competitive. Their roster is brutal. They were playing really hard for Jonathan Gannon. And I think Jonathan Gannon, coming from Philadelphia, had familiarity there with Dallas. That probably helped some as well. But, I could also say if Dallas could finish drives, it wouldn't have been a problem. They just have not been good in the red zone offensively this season. That's been kind of their Achilles heel, and it caught up to them on this one. So it goes to remind you, and there's a reason why these survivor pools where people, it seems like it should be pretty easy. And then most of those things reset after 4 or 5 weeks because it's just such a hard thing to predict week to week in this league. And they didn't show up. They didn't play clean game. And now, we'll see how the Diggs thing impacts them going throughout the year, but that's a big loss for their defense as well.
Tough loss. One of the top defenders, obviously, at the corner in the NFL. Arizona's a hair away from being 2-1. I mean, they could have very easily beaten the Commanders in week 1.
And I was looking up some numbers on them. Like, it's interesting. They are defensively, I think they were dead last in quarterback hits, but they're like 7th in sacks. Yeah. So, in other words, you're making it count. You don't have the talent and the skill to be in these positions a lot, but when you are in those positions, you're capitalizing, you're making it count. Just one small statistic there. But I think that kind of justifies how they're competitive like this. They are, they're not very talented. They have a lot of holes on this roster, but they play really, really hard. They're maximizing what they have.
We are going to get to one of the other big surprises, Jacksonville and Houston, in just a little bit. But before we do that, let's talk about Indianapolis beating Baltimore in Baltimore 22-19 with a backup quarterback. Now, I don't think Gardner Minshew is your garden variety backup quarterback. This guy has a lot of reps. He's started a lot of games, and he played like a starter for them. Surprising outcome, though, for Indianapolis to move to 2-1 and give Baltimore their first loss.
Yeah, Baltimore was missing 7 starters, so they were a little shorthanded there. But still, that's a tough place to go in and play. It's a real rivalry there, especially for the fans in that city. I think, to me, going back through that game, what stood out to me is the Indy front is really good. Kwity Paye has turned into a really good player for them. He's got sacks in each of the first 3 games. All across the front, they're physical, they're long and fast. They are a team that's under Chris Ballard as the general manager is very traits based. They're very traits obsessed. So you'll see the longest, rangiest, fastest guys. Their draft class this last year was like off the charts in terms of the athleticism score that they had. So they're fast, they're physical, they play hard. And Minshew, like you said, is he's like we would say like a 4A player in baseball. He's better than a AAA player. He's not quite a major leaguer. Like he's better than a backup, but he's not somebody you really want starting all the time. He's kind of in that in between level there. And he didn't play great, but they were able to get a win. It's a tough physical team. Which by the way, I had another point on that one. I was going to hit you and give you a question on this.
Okay.
If you look at the balance of power in the Big Ten, that it was in Ohio State's favor for so long, and then Michigan has taken this thing over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Is it a coincidence that those Ohio State teams, which was the Bosa brothers, Chase Young, defensive lineman after defensive lineman after defensive lineman, now you look up over the last few years, you watch games on Sundays, you know which college has the most NFL sacks right now through 3 weeks of the season? It's Michigan. It's Michigan. You've got Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson. You've got Rashawn Gary. You've got Kwity Paye, who we just talked about. Dana with it. They've kind of quietly done a better job with defensive linemen over the last few years than Ohio State has.
Yeah. So you can look to the NFL and see maybe why the tide has turned on the collegiate.
That's what I'm saying. You kind of points back, and you can kind of look at it and say, oh, wait a second. There's a reason why they've got this thing turned around in Michigan.
Ravens-Browns, that has become a really fascinating division now. The Ravens look like the class of that division. The Browns are 2-1. Those two teams play in Cleveland. All of a sudden, the Steelers look more competent. I saw you tweet about the play of Kenny Pickett Sunday night, how much more competent he looks. That has become, and then Cincinnati was clinging to life. They get the win on Monday night. Boy, it's always an interesting division, the AFC Central. But I think this weekend, the way the Steelers just played, and now with Ravens and Browns playing one another Sunday, kind of a fascinating spot in that division.
Yeah, it is. And look, Kenny Pickett, we talked about him previously. It did not look pretty early on, but I didn't think he was playing with a lot of sureness, a lot of confidence, just letting it rip, playing aggressive, using his legs. He did all those things in the game the other night. And I don't think the bar is super high for him. Like, their defense is really good. So they don't need him to play at some elite level to go win ball games. He plays like he did the other night, they'll be a playoff team, because the defense is good enough. Just be aggressive, make a couple big plays, which he did. The big home run ball to Calvin Austin down the field, taking off and running, making some things happen. And then, it was interesting. I was looking at the Browns, going through their tape, and Deshaun Watson played in kind of a spread and shred offense at Clemson. Just catch, rock, and throw from the gun. He goes to Houston. They use him the exact same way. He's wildly successful. Everything obviously takes place. He misses time. He just has not looked comfortable at all in Kevin Stefanski's offense with Nick Chubb and that offensive line and that system. A lot of under center, even when you're in the gun, play action, a lot of play action stuff. So I'm watching this game, Deshaun Watson, one of his best games that he's played, and I'm just kind of charting it, keeping notes, and I'm like, man, it feels like they're using it a little bit more with him just in the gun, no play action. And I'm like, he's having all the success. And they'd go under center and be a sack. And then he'd be in the gun. It'd be play action. He'd throw the ball away. Gun, play action, sack. So I'm like, I got to pull these numbers up. So I go through, and through PFF, you can kind of pull all this stuff up. In the non-play action pass this last week, he was 18 for 22 with a drop as well. So it should have been 19 for 22, like 178 yards, something like that. No sacks, a touchdown, no picks. And then when he's on play action, he was like 7 of 15, 8 of 15, had a touchdown, but not as many yards, not much yards, took 3 sacks. I'm like, okay, maybe now with the Nick Chubb injury, maybe a little bit of a good thing that could come out of that is they'll start using Deshaun Watson where he's comfortable. Get him in the gun and let him, catch, rock, and throw.
Yeah, it's interesting. Really good insight there. And on Pittsburgh, I wanted to bring up too, one thing that seems to have helped Pickett, he's got that really, it seems like anyway, a really good chemistry with Freiermuth right now as the tight end. He's really good tight end. Seems like anytime the play's breaking down, he's able to find him.
Yeah, I thought his eyes were working well too. He was getting through his progressions pretty quickly. Their offensive line, I'm curious to see how long before they kind of make some tweaks and adjustments there. They've got some young, talented players that haven't, Broderick Jones, that they haven't totally let get going yet. Dan Moore still out there playing at left tackle. We'll see how long that lasts. But I left that game thinking, okay, that was kind of the Steelers team I thought that we would see this year.
He is Daniel Jeremiah. It is DJ Football. He's with the NFL Network at Move the Sticks on Twitter. The show presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round at MyBookie.ag and get that sign-on bonus up to, or actually 110%, not up to 110% of your initial deposit there, 110% sign-on bonus. You can use it right away there at MyBookie.ag. That's when you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. If you need some advice on some games to play there, Lance'sLock.com is the place to go. LT has been red hot in football. He's got single day packages, weekly packages, monthly packages, full season packages right there at Lance'sLock.com, Lance'sLock.com, and MyBookie.ag, code next round. All right, up next, the 3 percenters. It's really 2.5%.
Wait, stop. I think I want to tell you if I figured this out because I've been staring at the 3%. I don't know what it is. You didn't tell me what it is.
I did.
Is this 3%? Is this 3% of the teams that start 0-3 make the playoffs? Yep. Is that what that is?
And it's really 2.5% since expansion. 2.5%. So none of these teams are going to recover, are they? You just saw one of them, Minnesota. Denver is 0-3 after their thrashing by Miami. Chicago is a dismal 0-3. Carolina is an 0-3 with a hurt quarterback. Minnesota would be the only one that would stand any sort of chance here. Did you see anything out of the Vikings that says they can at least turn this around enough to compete for their division and make the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, there's just talent offensively. Their offensive line is not very good. Kirk Cousins, I mean, and I know he's getting a lot of grief for the interception late in the game, but he was under constant duress. The Chargers hit him the entire game. And Justin Jefferson's not somebody that's similar to Tyreek Hill, where it's just, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you slow him down. I don't know how you stop him. They couldn't. So they're going to score points with that. Even with some of their issues up front, they'll get some guys back. Garrett Bradbury didn't play in that game. They'll get a little bit healthier on the front. Defensively, they're not equipped to play the way Brian Flores wants to play. I mean, they blitzed getting off the bus. It was like one of the highest blitz percentage games, zero coverage games that we've seen like the last decade. So I think he's going to have to adjust that a little bit. I don't think he has the corners to hold up. I mean, Keenan Allen went 18 for 215 in that game. So I think they're going to be in a lot of shootout type games, but I think the offense is good enough that they'll hang around. I don't necessarily know that they'll get to the postseason, but they're clearly way above everybody else that's in that 0-3 group right now.
Yeah, Chicago in that same division is just so bad. I don't know if you buy into QBR. It is a tough watch. I don't know if you buy into QBR. If I ask right now, worst QBR in the NFL, everyone watching would say Zach Wilson. They would all be wrong. Mm-hmm. The answer is Justin Fields. And it is just, you're right. It's a tough watch. You cannot watch them. It is a broken team right now.
Yeah, I would equate those together in that on Monday, we have our podcast that we do, and we have to go through the top games, and we want to be able to touch on the other games, even if we're not going to do a deep dive. And those are the two teams that I just woke up and I was like, I can't watch the Bears offense. I can't watch the Jets offense. I just can't do that to myself. I want to start my week off right. I don't want to get in a bad mood. I don't want to lose my appetite. It's just so hard to watch, man. Completions should not be that hard to come by.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and it's been a mess for them. Obviously, they lost a coordinator in a situation that is still ongoing. Justin Fields was openly critical and tried to backtrack it, but the words had already been said. He's basically was told in the offseason, don't run as much. And I don't understand why you would have watched him at Ohio State, drafted him, and then ever tell him not to run. What did you think you were getting in Justin Fields?
That was his superpower. I mean, that's what he does. And that's why you should build a team, kind of build a bully, as they like to say, and just load up on offensive linemen and tight ends and say, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and bludgeon you with the run. And every now and then we'll be able to work off that, take a deep play action. We're going to have wide open dudes down the field. But to ask him to just kind of sit back there, sift and sort and make reads and throws, that's not who he is.
Yeah. It really makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense the way they're trying. They were trying to use him, and their team is just really, really bad. They could be first.
They could be picking first and second. When it's all said and done, they could have a couple. Think about that. So think about how you could change your franchise. Let's just scrimmage it out real quick. You could say, okay, if you picked 1 and 2, you could take Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow, you've really changed your offense. But what if you take Caleb 1? And then, let's assume, for discussion's sake, very, very early in the process, that everybody wants to come up for the number 2 quarterbacks. North Carolina kid's very, very talented. So Drake May, does that fetch you a huge return? There's other teams. Arizona's could have 2 picks in the top 10. Is it possible you're Chicago, you could pick 1 and you could convince Arizona to give you their 2 top 10 picks to come up to take the second quarterback? You could have 3 picks in the top 10 when this thing's all said and done.
So, but and you're right about that. But here's the drawback on that, because it was not too long ago, the Dolphins, as a lifelong Dolphins fan, I tried to never bring them up on this show. They had 3 first-round picks. Yeah. And if memory serves, they went Waddle, Austin Jackson, and Noah Igbenogany. Yeah.
Correct.
I think those were the 3.
One out of 3. 1 out of 3.
And that's
1.5 out of 3 if you want to give
1.5. Austin. Yeah, Austin Jackson's still playing. Noah Igbenogany is playing for the Cowboys now. But that's the point. Like, you look, how many first-round draft picks live up to their potential? I think in a normal draft, if you get half of them, that's probably above the norm, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, we also have in recent history when you look at the Jets, and obviously the quarterback has masked the rest of the talent. But when you get Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson in the top 10, turn around, trade back up, and you get Jermaine Johnson, then you take Breece Hall. Like, those are their first 4 picks in that draft. You changed now that's a numbers game. Now you got talent and numbers. Theoretically, you could change it if you had the quarterback not get hurt 4 plays into the season.
Well, it's true. Yeah, I mean, that's the other factor. But I mean, ultimately, you've got to draft well. I mean, that goes without saying. But my point is, you're playing an odds game. If you're going to draft 3 first-rounders, you are going to have to be really good, because the odds tell you not all 3 of those are going to work out. And it's even more so if I've got 3 top 10 picks, because if you look at the top 10, I'm expecting that guy to have a near Hall of Fame career. There is a very low chance I'm going to draft 3 guys that are going to have a near Hall of Fame career in one single draft. If so, I'm Ozzie Newsome or somebody like that. I'm just really, really good at what I do.
But in saying that, I don't use can't miss, but when you look at Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., you're talking about guys who are going to have very long track records and who are, are comped in a very, very small group of players that have come into the league over the last decade. And and then so it's like you feel like if those are two of them, you feel like I feel pretty good about having two pretty for sure things, and then let's see what happens with the third one. Either way, it's got to be a draft that makes them a watchable product. Right now, they're not watchable.
They are not watchable at all. That's the Bears. We'll talk about rookies in 1 second. A reminder, DJ Football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up for MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-up bonus 110% of your initial deposit there in MyBookie.ag. Use it right away, win it, and it's yours forever at MyBookie.ag. That is when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. Also, don't forget the clothing from Roback. They got the quarter zips, the soft hoodies, the golf shirts. We'll get you some. Roback.com, code TNR20 at checkout to save 20% of your first order. Roback.com, TNR20. They're awesome. You do need to try them if you haven't. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, okay?
All right.
I'm working on it.
I figure I'll be breaking down. We're talking about Caleb Williams and his Hall of Fame career by the time that jacket shows up.
We'll get it. I promise. Let's talk about he's a rookie. You mentioned C.J. Stroud. When I was putting this together, he was 4th in the league in passing, and he just got passed barely by Matthew Stafford on the Monday night game. When we looked at this rookie class, I think, Bryce Young was obviously the number 1 pick. Yeah. It's kind of funny. You look back on it now, and everybody got so upset at that one play and that one win that cost Houston the number 1 pick. You never know when it might be a blessing in disguise. I'm certainly not giving up on Bryce Young. He's an immense talent. But, buddy, early on, C.J. Stroud has looked the part as the Houston quarterback.
1,000%. He's taken all of the good parts of his game in terms of the ability as a passer and as a thrower. I said at the combine, it was the best combine throwing session that I'd ever seen with him. And it wasn't hyperbole. I wasn't caught in the moment. I've seen guys throw it harder. I've seen guys throw it farther. I've seen guys make more impressive throws on the run. I've never seen somebody just as pinpoint accurate as he was with the desired velocity and the desired, trajectory on every single throw. Whatever it required, he delivered. And that's not something that's easy to do when you're throwing to a bunch of guys you don't know at the combine. So, and then you see him on the tape, you can see all these different types of throws. So as a thrower, very gifted. Now the knock on him and the question was when you get him under pressure, before we got to the Georgia game, there had been issues with him having to reset, move around, and deliver the ball accurately. Didn't have a lot of a playmaking gene to him so much. It was more just kind of on time and rhythm, execute the play as it's called, but didn't really play outside the bubbles very much. Then the Georgia game happens and he shows you can do all that stuff, which is a great reminder in scouting that if you do it once, we know you can do it. And so far early in this season, not only has he made all those throws, the fact he hasn't thrown a pick is evidence to the fact that there hasn't been a panic to his game. There's been a calmness and a poise. He's been able to navigate around the pocket, around some muddy areas. They're missing linemen. I think they're missing 3 linemen or something like that last week. So he's been able to make that happen. And it's been fun to not only watch his growth and development, but to see a guy in Tank Dell who looks like he could finally be making that tank prediction look good. It took us 3 weeks, Ryan, but we got there with a tank prediction.
What is Tanks for Nothing? What is the record of the fantasy team right now?
0-3. We're 0-3. We're off to a rough spot. This is what happens. I take guys 3 rounds too early, and then I'm a year too early. That's what happens.
You know where you are?
You're a year too early.
You're
I'm
a
3%er.
You're 0-3. Yeah. You got no shot at the playoffs now. You got no shot.
Well, I think this is a forgiving. I think it's 14 teams, 6 make it.
Okay.
So is that the same odds as it's a little bit better odds?
Maybe so. Yeah, a little better. Yeah. So do I remember correct with C.J. Stroud that the unnamed scouts talked about how maybe he didn't read defenses very well? He wasn't asked to do that as much in Ryan Day's offense?
Do you remember it was the S2 test?
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
S2 cognitive test.
Yeah.
And the scores, somebody leaked the scores and he had a really low score. And so then that was a big storyline there for a few weeks in the run up to the draft. But he has not a great testimony for the test at this point in time, the way he's played. Let's just put it that way. He's done quite well.
What a surprising outcome for them to go to Jacksonville and beat the Jags, who appear to definitely and probably still are the class of that division. Tennessee is awful. They can't score to save their life. Houston had looked like, it was just a rebuild, obviously. in D'Amico Ryan's first year. Jacksonville looked like the strength of that division, and for them to go in and beat them the way they did, that was a very impressive win.
Yeah, and it was not close. And the elephant in the room is that Trevor Lawrence is not playing very well this year on that side of things. So look at that draft. You had Trevor Lawrence, who's not off to a great start. Zach Wilson, who I can't imagine there's much more of him we're going to see. Trey Lance has already been traded. Justin Fields, you just mentioned, has got the lowest QBR in the league. And Mac Jones has just been okay. Just nothing. I don't think anybody in New England would say we've got our guy for the next 10 years. I don't think they're thinking that at all. So all the hype and buzz about that. Now, it was great because it gave us great ratings for that draft because we got a lot of guys we could talk about at the most important position. But so far, at least through this part of the year, the way that Trevor's playing, I think, has been pretty disappointing.
NFL is just such a funny game. It is so tight every Sunday because if I'm a Jacksonville fan, I go into Sunday thinking, hey, it's a good day for us, right? Tennessee's playing Cleveland. Cleveland's pretty good. Indianapolis is at Baltimore. They're going to lose up there. We'll be able to put some distance because we get Houston. We're not going to lose to Houston. Yeah. All of a sudden, Indianapolis beats Baltimore. You lose to Houston, and you don't put any gap with anyone other than Tennessee.
Nope. It's going to be a competitive division, and I mean, you haven't even talked about Carolina yet. So as I mentioned in that first week, Carolina, one of the underrated NFC/AFC South teams.
Yeah, that division is pretty wild too, with Derek Carr going down in their game.
Tampa's still in a good spot.
I know.
I mean, that's a tough loss. They're still in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2-1, and Baker Mayfield has played pretty well. Now, look, they were playing Philadelphia. They had their hands full with the Eagles. I don't think anybody expected anything differently in the Monday night game. Desmond Ridder has just not played well for Atlanta. I mean, they are so quarterback challenged. I mean, it is not outside the realm of possibility that Tampa wins that division. I mean, that would not be the craziest prediction you could make after 3 weeks.
No, I'd feel pretty good about it right now, to be honest with you. But I'll keep going back to the Kirk Cousins thing. Everybody says Cousins to the Jets. To me, Cousins to the Falcons is the one that I like.
Boy, it'd be a game changer. I mean, is there a possibility? Is there buzz in the league that could happen?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, the only buzz is taking place on DJ football here with me and Ryan. That's it.
I mean, it would be fantastic to see. I don't care. I mean,
unless they're hiding behind your fake brick wall. If they're behind that fake brick wall, then I know that there are people listening.
That's a real brick.
Give me a knock on that. Is that real? Give me a knock on that.
I don't want to scratch my knuckles. I mean, the Falcons are a quarterback away from being a really, really good team. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, the guy is leading the NFL in passing yardage. Could you imagine what he could do with all those weapons in Atlanta?
It'd be fun. It would be fun. Yeah, it'd be fun. Maybe it doesn't happen this year in terms of the trade, but that would be an interesting target in free agency.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody you could get that could play quarterback there would be fun to watch. It is DJ Football in front of a real brick wall. We are presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. You get that sign-on bonus right now, 110% of your initial deposit right away. And you can use it right away at MyBookie.ag. That is when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. All right, last week we got DJ to rank his top 5 AFC teams. So this week we are going to do the same exercise in the NFC, coming off a night where Philadelphia went to Tampa, we were just talking about, and won on Monday Night Football and looked pretty good in doing it. Let's go 5-1 with your NFC top 5.
All right, let's go 5-1. I'm going to start first of all. We're going to stay in the North for 5 and 4. We're going to go with the Detroit Lions at number 5. I don't think that should be too big of a surprise. The expectations were big for them coming into the year. We talked a little bit earlier about Aiden Hutchinson, the way he's played early in the season. Their rookies have been great. Jack Campbell, the rookie linebacker out of Iowa, Brian Branch has been great as their nickel. If you look on the offensive side of the ball, Gibbs, Laporta, that's going to turn out to be a heck of a draft class for the Lions. They're going to end up meeting my number 4 team this week in a rematch from a game at the end of the year that the Lions won. So I'll go Green Bay 4, Ryan. I've got Green Bay 4. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The best game in the NFC this week. Bills Dolphins, the best game of the weekend. But that Thursday night Amazon Prime game matching Detroit and Green Bay, they're in Lambeau Field. It's just, I mean, it's the best NFC game of the weekend.
100%. And Jordan Love, big finish last week. So he keeps showing you that he's made of the right stuff. He can make every throw. He's now starting to be a little bit creative, buying time, extending plays, making things happen. Again, another team with a bunch of young guys. These two teams are positioned to dominate this division for a very long time with the youth that they have, and they're off to great starts. So I would go Detroit, then Green Bay. What you want to guess on number 3? What do you want to guess on number 3?
You're going to have Philadelphia and San Francisco as your top 2. You know, I mean, I would have said Dallas, but Dallas just played poorly. Is it Dallas?
They did. It's Dallas. I'm going to give them a mulligan on the Arizona thing.
Okay.
They didn't play clean. They didn't play great. The yards were still there. They're still moving the ball up and down the field. They got popped a little bit in the run game defensively. They were, just had some gap discipline stuff that caught them. Don't love the fact that you lose a big-time corner and Diggs to injury, but I still think when you stack up the rest of the NFC, I still think they got so much talent. They're going to be number 3, and then really the decision comes with San Francisco and Philly, how to sort that out. If you're telling me I push the fast-forward button to when they meet and who I think will win that game, I would take Philadelphia. But if we're doing a power ranking, a true power ranking, where they are, what they've accomplished, what they've looked like this year, I would go San Francisco 1, Philadelphia 2. But to me, there are those two teams, and where we thought the Cowboys had joined that party, they've been uninvited. It is a 2-team conference, and they can sort out 3, 4, and 5. But that's the collision course we're all headed towards.
Just on offense, let's do this real quick on offense between San Francisco and Philadelphia. Philadelphia has the offensive line advantage. What would you say?
Check.
That
100%.
Okay, check. Tight end has got to go to San Francisco. It's good. Now Philadelphia ain't bad, but
I like Goddard, but I would take San Francisco.
All right, you take San Francisco. At wide receiver, I mean, Deebo Samuel will make him a wide receiver for purposes of this discussion, though he does a lot of different things. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. On the other side, you've got some pretty good wide receivers in Philadelphia there with Devontae Smith. AJ Brown. Where would you go there?
That one's a tough one. It's at the very. I might even just cheat it and say that one's a split. That's a
okay. I'm fine with that.
Even there. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. All right, so running back Christian McCaffrey is obviously really, really good, but I mean the way DeAndre Swift just played on Monday Night Football. Yeah. Swift has been awesome, but I would say that is a product of the offensive line. When you go back, I mean, you would have had 68 yards rushing in that game, Ryan. He went well over 100 behind that group. So to me, Christian McCaffrey, you have a chance to play with one of those guys. You take McCaffrey, especially what he does in the pass game as well. So I would give San Francisco the edge at running back. And then at quarterback is good. I mean, he's never lost a regular season game. I get that, but I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here, though, right? Over Brock Purdy.
Be more scared of Jalen Hurts, absolutely. Yeah. And Jalen can play outside the play design as well. So he hasn't played as good so far this year. There was a miscommunication on one of those interceptions last night, but nonetheless, I think talent-wise, I would go with Jalen Hurts. So again, it's pretty even, man. I think that could be the difference offensively is the quarterback. Although Brock's played well, so it's very evenly matched.
Again, the guy's never lost a regular season game. I do anticipate that streak to come to an end at some point in our lifetime, that he will lose a regular season game. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, that's coming. I think it's going to come when they play. I think the Philadelphia matches up well with him. If you go on the other side of the ball, the defensive lines, you can make a case as a wash. They're both stacked. Linebackers is a decided edge for San Francisco. Secondary is I might lean towards San Francisco there as well. It's close. At the corners, I feel good about Philly. The safeties are still a little bit sketchy. They're a little shaky. So I think defensively, I might go a little bit San Francisco, offensively a little bit Philadelphia. It's going to be a heavyweight match, man. And they do legitimately hate each other. So that's what's fun.
Yeah, it's an excellent discussion because those two teams are built a lot alike. And they play a lot alike, and they're both really, really good. They are very, very difficult outs for anybody in the NFC or the AFC for that matter. Whenever either one of those meets the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a really good game, I
think. Just keep Tua healthy. Let's just keep Tua healthy. Knock on wood, and then that's going to be a fun ride. I love the fact that you get another team to crash the party because it feels like it's been Cincinnati, Buffalo, KC for the last couple of years. We need somebody else to get in there.
They scored 70 points without Jalen Waddle even playing, DJ. Imagine if Waddle played. They might have scored 100.
They were trying to run the clock out, and they couldn't stop scoring.
I know. It was insane to watch. Like, Mike White comes in and he finds Robbie Chosen wide open for a deep ball. I'm like, what is even happening here?
The question then is, after watching what we've just said is the best offense in the NFL, do what they did to the Denver Broncos. Now, what is the gap between the best offense in the NFL and the worst offense in the NFL when the Bears play the Broncos this week? Like, how many points do the Bears put up on a team that just gave up 70?
If that game were in my backyard, I would ask them not to tear up my grass. I mean, can you imagine having to watch that? Can you imagine having to watch that game?
Whew. Oh. Yeah, not going to be. I almost picked it. I had to pick the games. I have my son and his buddies pick the games usually down at Baylor, but we were the only ones who picked the Broncos to beat the Dolphins last week. So I had to take the wheel back a little bit. So I make the picks this week, just a week suspension, and then I'll get him and his buddies back in the mix next week. But I almost picked the game to be like 13-13. So I was like, what could be the most weird game?
I mean, I was legitimately worried about the game. I mean, like, Waddle is out. Tyreek Hill had been a little bit banged up. Miami has been the story of the first 2 weeks. That offense has moved so well. I don't know. Shows you how the NFL is. It's completely unpredictable. I was legit worried about that game, and it's 42-13 before you can even think twice. It's
crazy. It's a weird league, man.
It is. I love it. All right, another week is on the way. Starts Thursday night with Detroit at Green Bay. DJ football presented by MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, get that sign-on bonus of 110%. Excuse me, 110%. I'm not adding anything for them. 110%. Still a great deal at MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on to get 110% in your sign-on bonus there at MyBookie.ag for this week only when you use code NEXTROUND. Also, get all your plays at lanceslock.com. Red hot in football. And they've got weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, season-long packages, lanceslock.com and roback.com for our apparel. Code TNR20 at checkout to save 20%. All right, enjoy all the football, DJ. We'll see you next week.
See you, buddy.